Vamos a salir aquí, no tenemos.
I know. Okay. Judge, can you make me co-host so that I can help you? Or I can do it on
All right, let me, good afternoon, everyone. Sorry for the short delay. We're having ID number confusion.
No, yeah.
You ready to go, Ms. Martinez?
Yes, Judge.
I see the two attorneys. Let me just make sure we have the court reporter ready to go.
Let me check on that, Judge.
I don't think the reporter's in yet, Judge.
Good afternoon, Ms. Butler. Mr. Hernandez, is your client going to be present?
Yes, Your Honor. I'm trying to bring her in. I think she's here. She is present, and Mr. Jorge Prado is also present.
Are they husband and wife, or are they brother and sister, or?
I know they're husband and wife, Your Honor.
Judge, the reporter should be logging in any minute. It's going to be Mr. Carl Clayton.
There he is. Good afternoon, Mr. Clayton.
We're ready, Judge.
Okay, let me call the case and I'll get the appearance of the attorneys for the record. The court calls 2022 CDK 115D3 in the matter of Diana Prado on behalf of Homes in Harmony versus Myra Butler. Announcement of the attorneys, please.
Yes, Your Honor. For the record, Juan Hernandez, and I represent the plaintiffs in this case.
Good morning, Your Honor. Good afternoon, I'm sorry. Daniel Vargas on behalf of Ms. Butler.
Before we begin, Mr. Vargas, you're from the Valley?
Yes, Judge.
What's your father's first name?
His name is Felix, but my dad is Puerto Rican, Judge, so I don't have any family in the Valley.
A good friend of mine named Andres Vargas that moved down there. I was wondering if you were. Well, listen, I read both the petition and the TRO, obviously, which I signed, and the response, Mr. Vargas, of your client. I want to tell you a little bit about my concerns so that you can address as I give you time here to address the court. The main concern I have is that it looks like you have two factions tearing the company apart, neither one really cooperating with the other side or denying access according to the pleadings. And the other thing I have concerns about is that I have some experience dealing with foster homes or these type of homes, and the licensing. Am I to understand that the only one that has a license is Ms. Butler? in this case?
At
Yes,
the beginning,
Judge.
yes, Your Honor.
Okay, so, um,
In the meantime, Ms. Prado has already gotten her license and she's ready to go, Judge.
okay, well, I mean, and those are some of the things that I looked at. And please correct me if I'm wrong, but it looks like unless you all have some kind of working relationship, but I don't know how the Harmony Home, and I know is going to survive this. So in my eyes, we're trying to get at the best resolution going forward. But I'll listen to what you all have to say in reference to the company. And Mr. Hernandez, I also, in the counterclaim, you know, some of the things you were complaining about are basically counterpled regarding funds and stuff like that. So those are some of the things that the court is concerned about going forward. But let me turn it over to the attorneys, and then we can see if we need to put on testimony or maybe something that can be done, so at least allow you to go forward without minimizing, I guess, any economic loss on both sides. So, Mr. Hernandez, you're the plaintiff in this case, and you're fighting to keep your TRO alive, but you've heard some of the concerns I have. So the floor is yours, and I'll give you, we have the pro se docket, starts at 1:30. I want to give you as much time as possible, so let me turn it over to you guys. Go ahead, Mr. Hernandez.
Yes, Your Honor. What we have here is basically three persons. Originally, there were four. Miss Butler's husband, Jonathan Butler, initiated and filed the limited liability company. He has since been out of the company by his own choice and by whatever disharmony that there is. So there's basically three persons. We have Ms. Butler, who is the CEO, and we have Ms. Diana Prado, who is the COO, and we have Mr. Jorge Prado, who is the, I guess he's a financial officer, training officer. And a lot of these judge, their names that they have agreed to, but there's really been no meeting. But be that as it may, this corporation, limited liability company, was, I think it was set in on, I want to say August 5th of 2019. So it's a relatively small, short time that the agency has been in existence. Now, at the time, Judge, I'll save the court a lot of he said, she said, but I believe that in late December, they started having problems, and it seems that both basically got married to their CEO, COO, and so Ms. Butler became more affirmative in trying to run the company, and Ms. Prado, who had been running the company, became maybe a little more on the what's going on type of attitude, because early January, Ms. Butler decided that she was going to run the company because she had found maybe 2 or 3 financial incidences where she didn't have an idea of what those expenses were. At the beginning of the corporation, I think there was a $75,000 cash requirement, and Ms. Prado and Mr. Prado turned in the $75,000. Ms. Butler did not contribute anything into the actual company. Ms. Prado filed the application with the Department of Human Services to be able to have foster parents and maybe the agency, adoption agency. And so the contracts in and of themselves were initiated by Ms. Prado, but then again, it was also with Ms. We'll call her Myra. She was the one that had the license, and I think that before then, Mr. and Ms. Prado used to be foster parents, and Ms. Butler would work with different agencies, and whenever she left that particular agency, the Prados would follow her, and that's how they got together in terms of a partnership.
Let me ask you this question real quick, Mr. Hernandez. I mean, what is your client, aside from the money damages, I know both sides are claiming, I mean, what do you envision as the end game here? Is your client claim, I mean, because from where I'm sitting right now, each owns 45% of the business, and your client now has a license that Ms. Butler has, basically the company's been using since the existence back in 2019. And again, I'm just telling you what I'm gleaming from the pleadings on both sides. But I think the suspicion from the defendants, from Ms. Butler, is that your clients are angling toward getting other businesses outside of the company because they may start their own company. Again, I'm just gleaming this from the pleadings that Mr. Vargas filed in response to your lawsuit. And again, I have concerns with that in the sense that, you know, you're riding the coattails of which both have an interest in this company right now. So, and that's why I'm asking, what's the end game? Does she plan to stay to try to work things out, or is doom? I mean, is this company winding down?
No, Your Honor. In fact, I think the end of the game, Mr. Julio Garcia was the attorney that contacted me before I filed the lawsuit. And the end game is that the Prados want to continue with the program because they have $75,000 invested in it. We have no problem with talking to Ms. Butler, and I think we talked to Mr. Vargas yesterday. We don't have a problem with dealing with how much it is that it's going to take for Ms. Butler to be out. I don't think that they both can run the company. I think that their existence together in running this company is not in the best interest of neither one of them, not in the best interest of the services that are being provided by the agency. And at some point in the future, I think the department is going to come in, and we don't know what's going to happen because I know that early January, Ms. Butler asked the Prados for information because, and that's the payroll and
Well, and I don't want to diminish the contributions again, and that your clients, the Prados, made to the company. Obviously, they've been working for at least 2 years, maybe a little bit longer. But in reference to what you just said, you know, aside from the actual value, you understand that there's a certain amount of additional goodwill because this company would not be in existence or could not even operate had it not been for the license that Ms. Butler brought into the picture. I understand you're telling me she didn't contribute. And again, I don't think either side in their pleadings made reference, and I didn't have a copy of how their operating agreement was or their bylaws to the, you know, and how the members were going to decide on, you know, any of that is not before the court. But it seems like that both sides going forward have an affirmative obligation to disclose any financial dealings, at least up to today for sure, as to if Ms. Butler, being a 45% owner, which is basically 50%, wants to know where this nickel was spent, she's entitled to know that, and she's also entitled to have access to anything that's been generated from this company. The same extends, and Mr. Vargas, Mr. Hernandez had some of the similar concerns with passwords and all that. And I'm just telling that both sides have, because of the structure that both of you are telling me, both sides are entitled to full disclosure by each other, being that they're equal members at this point in time. Okay, no, I mean, again, I mean, there's.
I do think that the court is accurate in assessing that, Judge. And by the same token, I believe that Ms. Butler is also saying, look, if you don't want me, then pay me. And the Prados are saying, well, fine, we'll pay you. But in the meantime, don't screw it up for us, basically.
No, that's a succinct way of putting it, and I understand. Let me hear from Mr. Vargas and see where he has, and again, and I would like to kind of also know what you envision as the end game going forward.
Okay, Judge. Well, I guess I'll start off with the end game, Judge. And based on my pleadings, I think that, and by the discussions with my client and Mr. Hernandez, and what his client has mentioned, is that I don't see any resolution to this. I don't see that they're going to be able to keep this LLC alive. Just based on the proposal that was sent over from Mr. Hernandez's office to my client, and by my client's response, I don't see it. And that's why in my pleadings, Judge, I said, you know what, I think in the best interest of everybody is to wind down this LLC. Now, I understand that there was some money invested, and maybe those are the things that we can work out during the winding up. But I think that's what's going to be best, because Ms. Butler has a license that's on the line. And the Prados don't want her to operate and manage this company, but how can she do that if she has an obligation to the Department of Family and Protective Services and her license is on the line? I don't think that's possible.
And yeah, that's not lost in the court, that any events, I guess, which it's her license is being put in jeopardy, which is, I mentioned that to kind of let, I guess, the plaintiff know that even though she may have not financially invested, and that may not be 100% true, but you know, it's her license that's been on the risk since the start of the corporation back in 2019.
Aside from that, Judge, there's some communication from the department just recently regarding them looking into the LLC in regards to some of the compliance issues. And if the LLC doesn't take care of this internally, the department is going to come in and run an audit. And the result of that is that if for whatever reason the department says, look, there's monies here that we can't account for, we're going to cut your contract, and it comes with like a 5-year ban, is what I understand. So both parties are going to be in worse position if the department comes and runs an audit of the LLC, which I understand they're intending to do now, unless we fix the problem. And according to Ms. Butler, I think that if we were to wind down this company, both parties would still be eligible to go forward and get their own license and get their own company going independent of each other. And I understand that Ms. Prado is close to getting her own license as well.
Well, Judge, she does have her own license, and if in fact the department is going to do an audit, that's the kind of information that we also need, because we don't have that information. And we try as hard as we can so that we can give Ms. Butler information as it comes, but we don't have the same favor for information that she has. And you know, I don't know how to respond to that other than we don't have that information. And if we're running the limited liability company and Ms. Butler is also running the limited liability company, there's going to be some information in there that needs to be given. My proposal is, Judge, why don't we can have Ms. Butler run maybe the I think they have maybe one or two
Branches.
branches in San Antonio. There's also another branch in the valley. She can run that. The Prados can run this one, and they can exchange it.
This one being what, in Laredo?
Your Honor, there's three. The one in Laredo, I think, has like 26, 27 parties. The one in San Antonio has one or two. The one in the valley has, again, one or two. And what we're saying, Judge, is Ms. Butler, I mean, we'll try to, when I talked to Mr. Garcia, I told him that, look, we can get this thing done maybe in about a week or 2 weeks. We don't have to wait that long. All we need to do is have enough time so that either one is going to run it, either the Prados are going to run the agency, or Ms. Butler's going to run the agency. But she would have to give us indemnity and hold us harmless and all of that, just because we don't know what she's going to do.
Well, I mean, they're both in this business to make money. I mean, I can't account for the climate that might be happening right now, but let me tell you what I'm thinking that's going to apply to both parties. And you were the one that mentioned the terms of how they're operating, that Ms. Butler is the chief executive officer, Ms. Prado is the chief operating officer, and I think Mr. Prado was the chief financial officer, and there was some other stuff in there. So, and this I think should apply to help you all go forward. Basically, and this goes into the future and covers anything in the past. Any contracts entered into by either side, either Ms. Butler or the Prados, need to be disclosed to the other side.
Absolutely, yeah.
Well, that's going to be ordered. The passwords giving access to the emails and accounts also. And actually, whoever has control of the accounts, and I'm talking about all accounts, have to be disclosed to the other side or given them access to gather. And that applies to both sides because they both own those. I mean, this should be basic.
Right.
And where's the Texas Department sending the mailing? What's the principal mailing address?
Is it hers? Right. I believe that it goes directly to Ms. Butler, Judge. Mr. Vargas might. Yeah. Most of the emails go with Ms. Butler.
Well, regardless of where they go, right, going forward, they need to be forwarded to each other. There needs to be full disclosures on both sides to see where the company stands, and so you all can start to evaluate and because, again, I don't know how you're going to put a dollar amount on that, but we're just wrapping up, and if they use the standard fiscal year ending in December, the accountants are going to want to start seeing all the tax information. I mean, that'll be a big help in determining where the company stands. But I mean, am I missing any information that needs to be co-exchanged going forward?
Not that I know of, Judge, other than when Ms. Butler inquires and asks for information, that information is forwarded to her. We don't have the same courtesy, but if there is an order and we ask her to give us the information so that everybody will be informed of what is going on from the department, we can do that because we're already doing that.
Well, I just said that going forward, it applies to both sides, not
Right.
just Ms. Butler.
Right.
The only question I have, I guess, for Mr. Vargas, I mean, I heard a suggestion from Mr. Hernandez how we go forward. Look, because this is the next step. Neither one of you is going to like, and it's going to be expensive, and I want to avoid that. Is appointing a receiver to take over and finding someone with the skill set that both of you all have is going to be difficult and expensive. And I don't want to do that. So Mr. Vargas, if you have an idea, if dividing up the areas is something that can work going forward, I would encourage you all to let me know now and see if that's something that you all can agree on going forward, with the option of being able to come back and try to modify, whether it be with me or Judge Palomo, so that we minimize the expense. So, so I'd like to hear from Mr. Vargas if you had a suggestion of how we go forward.
Going forward, Judge, you already touched up on all the contracts and accounts, Judge, and emails, and I agree with that. We were proposing that the parties keep the status quo, Ms. Butler as a CEO, but we need access to all the accounts, Judge. And there's also the Laredo office. She needs access to those offices as well.
Well, that's going to be ordered. I mean, that's
Yes,
going to go in. She's going to get that. She's entitled. Miss Butler's entitled to.
And we wanted to get all the information in regards to the missing receipts and the expense reports for 2021, because we really do need to see what that money was spent on, Judge. Because like I said before, we need to fix this issue before the department comes knocking on the door. So going forward.
Well, just so I'm clear, so that I'm clear, when I mentioned accounts, included in accounts is expenses. And as I mentioned, any contracts that were signed in the past and going forward need to be exchanged prior. And, it would seem like to me, and I haven't seen your bylaws, but it seems like a lot couldn't get done unless you both agree on it. I mean, you all need to look at that and see how, and you may not have that detailed of bylaws, and that's not uncommon, but when you don't have them and you end up in these fixes that we're in right now. So
I think that and again, I don't want to add fuel to the fire, but I understand that Mr. and Ms. Butler were having problems, and he quit maybe like 2 or 3 times. And I think that the last time that she requested that Mr. Butler be allowed back in, I think the Prados basically said no. Well, no. And so I think that at that time, things started to change a lot. Now, the corporation, limited liability company, was registered in 2019, but the only contract that we've had is with the department. I think was like in August of 21. So April of 21. So we can have all of the information that Mr. Vargas and Ms. Butler needs, but then we also need the information that she has, so that both sides can have that information. I mean, because
again, if we go forward with the status quo as is, with both sides exchanging all information, and I mean all, is that something that might be workable then, Mr. Hernandez?
Your Honor, yes, I believe so. But because one of the things that Ms. Butler has been doing is she calls the employees and tells them stuff that she shouldn't, that the employees should not even be hearing. This is something that has to do with administration, and we'd like for her to stop that. And at the same time, we'd also want to give her the information as it comes to us, and we'd like to have the information as it comes to hers. Now,
look, I mean, I can include a non-disparaging comments, but based on what we have here right now, I mean, just for the sake of argument, since none of the co-workers are here, any testimony is going to be hearsay at this point.
Right.
So I'm just going to mention to both sides that, that the order going forward is going to indicate no disparaging comments for both sides. And again, this is going to be equal.
Right.
We'll allow the status quo to go with the understanding as we go forward that we may need to come back in about two or 3 weeks just to see how we're doing, to see if we need to fine tune this stuff. And if there are problems, then we can designate a little bit more time. So we need to take testimony and then I can make. So for now, based on the fact that I'm not getting any hemming or hawing on the status quo as far as the control is going to stay the same with a joint order on both sides to exchange the information such as contracts, emails, passwords to everything, accounts, expenses, and mailings are to be exchanged between Miss Myra Butler and Miss Prado, okay? So gentlemen, I guess if you all can kind of work toward an order to get to me to sign, and I do need to move on. I've got 26 couples that want to get divorced.
Judge, can I add one more thing, Judge?
Sure.
Before any of the members make any disbursements, we would like to, know how, when these disbursements are being made, Judge. Because I'm not sure if it's very clear from their operating agreement as to how and when they should be making.
Well, I included expenses and what I'll do,
Distributions.
just to give you so we're not talking about, I don't know, any amounts over $400 or $500. Although any expenses will have to be exchanged by both sides. But if you've got to pay the water bill, you may not want to wait till, but just both sides are going to be required to keep track of the expenses on behalf of the company, and especially any withdrawals. And obviously any checks are going to have to be exchanged with the other side. Okay. So just note for both sides that I'm ordering that going forward, that the exchange is all encompassing. So
Okay, well, Judge, and the other thing, could Ms. Prado also have access to the, I guess it's, or to the payroll? I know that it's, the court's already made that finding.
yeah, no, I mean, again, there's no limitation as to what I'm asking both sides to provide to the other side.
Okay,
Okay, and payrolls, buying stamps, doesn't matter. Okay,
okay, and the other thing, Judge, we'd like to have Ms. Prado go in also as a license, put her license in the in the agency, Judge, along with Ms. Butler. I don't think Ms. Butler's allowing Ms. Prado to go in and do anything, and they haven't done anything because they don't want to get into trouble. But
I mean, I'm assuming it's permissible to have more than one license.
yes.
No, it's
Judge,
not.
I'm not sure, I haven't heard this request, so I'm not sure how it would work. I would ask that we table this issue till.
I'm getting nods from Ms. Butler. Well, I will do this, Mr. Hernandez. Why don't you submit that and as part of this order, Ms. Butler, you're not going to be allowed to withdraw it from the House of Harmony so that they can continue to operate at least for the next 2 or 3 weeks until we get you all back here with a little bit more time to flesh this out some more. And then you bring that up, Mr. Hernandez, whether or not additional, I don't see the harm, but I'm getting nods from Ms. Butler that you cannot have more than one. I really don't see the harm. This company's been fine with just one license for now. Rather than muddy the waters, you all need to fix whatever accounting the department is asking for. And again, just with the understanding as we go forward that Ms. Butler's license will stay as the effective one right now so that the company can operate. Okay. All right. Thank you all. And if you all need to talk to me a little bit, Mr. Hernandez and Mr. Vargas, we can do a conference call tomorrow. 956-523-4645 is the direct line to my chambers. I don't have secretary, so I'll be the one answering. So,
Yes, Your Honor.
all right. Thank you all, and best of
Thank
luck
you.
going forward. Work so you can maximize your output, your your money profits. All right, thanks. I'm going to go to the divorce docket.
Yes, Your Honor.
Judge, there's no resetting on any
Well-
matters?
Well, we're going to have to coordinate to make sure I get a court report and all that. I envision we're going to have to do this in another 2 or 3 weeks. You let me know when I can do that before I leave on break. And that way, but I think we're going to need to devote a little bit more time to this next go around if there's any issues. And I'll be able to talk to the attorneys about that before then. We'll discuss only procedural, no factual. Okay, guys.
Thank you, Judge.
Nice meeting you all, and we'll see you later.
Okay.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you. All right, moving on to the pro se divorce docket. Let me change gears here. And all right, I think the first two we're going to is Carolina Hasso and Rene Omero Ramirez present.
No, Judge, they're not present in the courtroom.
Okay, we're going to pass that case. There's no service, there's no citation. So the next case on the docket is Gabriela Arredondo and Miguel Ángel Arredondo.
I'm present, Your Honor.
Okay, they both signed a decree, but there's a child and there was no child support indicated, so we're going to have issues with that. Unless they've agreed. Okay, so they're not present.
Yeah, Judge, they're not present.
All right, that case will be passed. All right, moving on to page 2. The court calls 2021 FLA 1538 D2 in the matter of Ruth Martinez and Jorge Martinez Jr.
Ms. Martinez is present in the courtroom.
Okay, Ms. Martinez, do you understand English?
She's coming forward, Your Honor.
Okay.
She needs a translator.
Okay, let me talk to her a little bit in Spanish because I have to talk to her about the decree she submitted. Buenos días, señora Martínez.
Buenos días.
Señora Martínez, estaba viendo que ya le presentaron los documentos por servicio al señor Jorge Martínez y no hizo una respuesta. Tienen 4 niños y no vi indicación sobre el apoyo para los niños, child support.
No, no estoy segura. Yo metí los documentos a Child Support, pero nunca tuve noticias. Hablé varias veces y me dijeron que tenía que esperar.
Tienes una causa activa con el Attorney General. ¿Sí?
Bueno, yo metí papeles, más nunca, no recibí respuesta. No sé si no haría bien el proceso.
Is there
Your Honor, I
anyone-
think AG did file an intervention.
okay, that was my next question. Is there any indication whether they had already made a determination as to the amount of child support? Is anyone here from the AG's office? They normally join in.
No, Judge, I don't think, I sent them the link yesterday. But we can have Melissa share the screen, the clerk.
What am I looking at? Is there a final order? Can you tell?
Judge, you want you want me to share the final order?
Is there a final order?
Let's see, there is final. It was placed, it says that it was placed on file. Let me see.
Because if there's a final order, we can incorporate that into the child support, because that's the only thing that's missing from this order.
That wasn't in the file, Judge?
No, it's not.
File.
And I have the physical file in front of me. Señora Martínez, ¿dónde vive su esposo, Jorge Martínez?
Nuevo Laredo.
Is there an indication that there's a final order?
Yes, Judge, let me go ahead and share it with you. Give me 1 second,
Okay.
Judge. EJ? Let's see.
I don't think there was a final order, Judge, for AG, just the intervention itself.
Well, it's disabled right now. I can't share anything. Let me see.
Let me log in, Judge. Give me 1 second.
See if you can,
Sorry about that, Judge.
no, it's okay.
Judge, I changed the settings on the sharing. Maybe, I don't know if she wants to check again.
Let me check. Give me 1 second. Can you see it, Judge?
No, but that's the final decree of divorce in this case. I wanted to see if there was an amount that the AG determined as child support in the intervention case.
Now, it'll be the intervention that was filed on September 27 of
I thought it was that.
2021. The one you're sharing is the final divorce decree.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
that's the decree in this case, but if she has an AG number
Wait.
case. Su esposo estaba trabajando
Sí,
en Laredo y Nuevo Laredo o nomás allá en Nuevo Laredo.
no, él trabaja aquí en Laredo, Texas.
Okay. ¿No sabes si entregó recibos de su sueldo a la oficina del Attorney General de Texas?
No sabré decirle, creo que no.
Your Honor, there is an OAG number on the intervention, but I don't see a final order as to the AG.
¿Le está pagando en este momento? ¿O
No.
¿Desde cuándo no le está pagando?
Desde marzo del año pasado, no me da nada, me da lo que él quiere y cuando él quiere y cuando supuestamente él puede. Pero no hay nada concreto.
Y si tienen 4 niños, ¿verdad?
Sí,
¿No tiene un estimado en la cantidad?
no porque generalmente él no me quiere dar para ellos.
El problema es, podemos ir adelante, pero el problema va a ser que no voy a tener cantidades exactas de cuánto debe de pagar de apoyo. Y lo mínimo que puedo poner es que está trabajando en minimum wage, que no es mucho.
Bueno, su trabajo de él es de driver. Yo he visto talones de él de $1,350
¿Por
ya
mes o por semana?
por semana. quitando, antes, ya quitando lo de los impuestos, 1,350, 1,400, todo dependiendo de sus viajes de él, pero sus viajes son largos. No estoy segura si le pagan 45 o 50 centavos la mía.
¿Cuánto tiempo tenía con esta compañía?
No sabré decirle exactamente porque cuando pasó todo esto de nosotros, él trabajaba para otra compañía, ahora tiene otra compañía, pero a esta compañía creo que le paga en cheque porque así yo lo había visto. No sé si la direct deposit.
Okay. I think I can work with that. So let's do this. Señora Martínez, le voy a pedir que levante su mano derecha para tomar su testimonio. Can you swear in?
Okay. Do you solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
¿Te jura decir la verdad, toda la verdad y nada más que la verdad bajo el amparo de Dios?
Lo juro.
I swear.
Thank you.
You close
¿Me
it.
puedes, can you tell me your correct name?
¿Me puede decir su nombre correcto?
Ruth Martínez.
Ruth Martínez.
And you're currently married to Jorge Martínez?
¿Y usted está actualmente casada con Jorge Martínez?
Sí,
Yes.
Before filing the lawsuit, did you live in Texas for at least 6 months and Webb County 90 days?
Antes de presentar la demanda de divorcio, usted vivía en el estado de Texas por 6 meses y en el condado de Webb por lo menos 90 días.
sí.
Yes.
How long have you been separated from Mr. Martínez?
¿Cuánto tiempo tiene separado del señor Martínez?
Desde el año pasado, en marzo del año pasado.
Since March of last year.
Is there any reasonable expectations that you might get back together again?
¿Hay alguna expectativa razonable que usted se vaya a juntar con él de nuevo?
No,
No.
Are you asking the court to grant you a divorce because the marriage has become insupportable?
¿Usted le está pidiendo a la tribunal que le otorgue el divorcio porque se ha vuelto insoportable el matrimonio?
sí,
Yes.
And there are 4 minor children of the marriage?
¿Hay 4 hijos menores del matrimonio?
sí,
Yes.
Are your children on Medicaid or Medicare?
¿Sus hijos tienen Medicaid o Medicare?
sí.
Yes.
Do the children live with you right now?
¿Los niños viven con usted ahorita?
Sí,
Yes.
Is there any reason why Mr. Martinez should not receive the standard visitation?
¿Hay alguna razón por la cual el señor Martínez no debe recibir la visitación estándar?
no, ninguna.
No, none.
The court is going to order that you will determine the place of residence for all the children.
La tribunal va a determinar que usted tendrá el derecho a decidir la residencia de los niños.
Está bien.
It's fine.
So, Ms. Martinez, would you please tell me what is your understanding of how much money your husband makes right now, either on a weekly or monthly basis?
Señora I'm sorry, Judge.
Yeah, after the deductions for taxes and Social Security.
Señora Martínez, ¿usted me podrá decir cuál es su entendimiento de cuánto dinero gana su esposo ya sea semanal o mensualmente después de las deducciones de seguro social y de las taxas?
No estoy 100% segura, pero son como $1,400 por semana.
I'm not 100% sure, but it's about $1,400 per week.
So to the best of your recollection, then your husband earns around $45,000 to $50,000?
Entonces su esposo gana alrededor de 45 a 50 mil dólares por año.
Tal vez sí, más o menos.
Maybe yes, more or less.
The court is going to find that the net earning after deductions for Mr. Martinez is $4,000 per month.
La tribunal determina que la ganancia después de las deducciones del señor Martínez es de $4,000 por mes.
For 4 children times 0.35. The court is going to order that he pay $1,400 per month.
La tribunal va a ordenar que él pague $1,400 por mes.
And in addition, $75 for Medicare reimbursement.
Y además $75 para reembolso de Medicare.
Standard visitation will be ordered.
La visitación estándar será ordenada.
Ms. Martinez, are you asking that your name be changed?
Señora Martínez, ¿usted está solicitando que su nombre sea cambiado?
Sí,
Yes.
That will be approved.
Eso será aprobado.
gracias.
Thank you.
The court is taking judicial notice that Mr. Martinez was served on 9/21/2021 and no answer was filed.
La tribunal tomará nota judicial que el señor Martínez se le entregó los documentos el 21 de septiembre del 2021 y no archivó ninguna respuesta.
Based on your testimony and the evidence before the court, Ms. Martinez, the court is granting your divorce.
Basado en su testimonio y la petición, la tribunal va a aprobar su divorcio.
Gracias.
Thank you.
There will be some adjustments on child support as the oldest child becomes of age and is no longer entitled to child support.
Habrá algunos ajustes en la manutención de los niños ya cuando el niño mayor alcance la mayoría de edad. Ya no puede recibir manutención.
Ok.
Okay.
That's it, Ms. Martinez. Thank you very much.
Sir,
Eso es todo. Muchas gracias.
sir, hay una pregunta.
Yes.
I have a question.
Tenemos, bueno, tiene una casa donde estamos ahorita viviendo nosotros, mis hijos y yo. Él siempre me comenta que tengo que salirme de la casa.
He has a house where we're living right now, my children and I, and he always makes comments that I have to leave the house.
Y quiero saber qué pasaría porque él siempre me ha dicho que necesito salirme de la casa.
And I would like to know what would happen because he's always said that I need to leave the house.
Miss, was the house bought before or during the marriage?
¿La casa fue comprada antes del matrimonio o durante el matrimonio?
Fue durante el matrimonio, solo no estábamos casados legalmente, pero hace algunos meses llegamos en un acuerdo que la propiedad se iba a dividir por partes iguales, pero él me insiste que tengo que abandonar la casa.
It was during, we just weren't legally married. A couple months ago, we came into an agreement that the property would be divided into equal parts, but he just keeps telling me that I need to leave the home.
Is the title under his name or both your names?
¿El título está bajo su nombre o bajo el nombre de los dos?
Bajo el nombre de los dos. Anteriormente estaba a nombre solo de él,
Under
pero
both.
ahorita hace un tiempo ya está llegando las taxas y eso a nombre de los dos.
Under both. Before it was just under his, but now the taxes and everything is under both.
Did he give you a title to the property during the marriage?
¿Él le dio a usted un título de la propiedad durante el matrimonio?
No, solo fuimos a un notario para que nos dividiera. Él se dio a darme una parte, está notarizado.
No, we just went to a notary so that it would be divided in equal parts. It's notarized.
Do you know if it was filed with the county clerks?
¿Usted sabe si fue archivado ese documento con el secretario del condado?
Sí,
Yes.
solo quería saber qué iba a pasar porque él siempre me comenta que tengo que salirme, que tengo que irme yo con los niños de su casa porque él va a vivir ahí.
I just
Eh,
wanted to know what was going to happen because he always comments that I have to leave the home with my children and that he would live there.
What's the address to that property?
¿Cuál es la dirección de esa propiedad?
3327 Cuatro Vientos Drive, Laredo, Texas, 78046.
3327 Cuatro Vientos Drive, Laredo, Texas, 78046.
3327 Cuatro Vientos Drive. What came after that?
Laredo, Texas, 78046.
In the decree you submitted, there's no mention of that, which is why I was kind of, I didn't ask you about the house, but is it your understanding that you each own 50% then, right?
Si el decreto se presentó y no fue llenada esa información, entonces por eso no mencioné eso. Su entendimiento es de que la propiedad es dividida entre mitad, o sea, mitad para los dos.
Ok.
¿Ese es su entendimiento?
Pues yo sé que es mitad y mitad, solo que él me dice que me tengo que salir de la casa. Me tengo
Well, I
que-
know that it's half and half, but it's just that he tells me that I have to leave the house.
Cada que él se molesta conmigo, llega y se enoja y me dice que tengo que irme con los niños de su casa.
Every time he gets bothered with me, he tells me that I need to leave his home with the children. Every time he gets mad.
These are his children though, right?
Los niños son de él, ¿correcto?
Sí.
Yes.
Okay, Ms. Martinez, I cannot take his half away from him.
Puedo quitarle su mitad a él.
No puedo quitarle su mitad. Te puedo dar el derecho, I can give you the right to live there.
Le puedo dar el derecho a vivir ahí.
Ok.
Okay.
With
Solo-
the children.
Solo era porque como ya me he salido anteriormente muchísimas veces porque pues él me dice que me tengo que salir con los niños. So ya no quiero que mis niños tengan tanto desbalance por todo lo que está pasando. Es cada día más difícil y que él venga y me esté comentando siempre eso y los niños pues no saben qué pasa. Siempre me dicen que por qué nos tenemos que salir nosotros. Porque
It was just because I've left many times, but he tells me that I have to leave with my kids. I just don't want my kids to have so much imbalance, and for him to come and be commenting that I have to leave, and my children ask that why are we the ones that have to leave?
If you're going to stay there, there might be a small adjustment on the amount of child support.
Usted se va a quedar allí, entonces tal vez va a haber un ajuste menor en la manutención de los niños.
está bien.
That's fine.
Is the house paid for?
La casa ya está pagada.
Sí,
Yes.
As part of the division, the court is going to order that you have exclusive use of that property.
Como parte de la división, la tribunal ordenará que usted tenga el uso exclusivo de esa propiedad.
está bien.
That's fine.
Okay. Thank you, Mrs. Martinez, and good luck going forward.
Gracias, señora Martínez, y buena suerte.
Gracias.
Thank you.
Okay, next case on the docket is 2021 FLA 1661 D1, Ángel Santos Rangel and Alma Delia Rangel.
Not present here in the courtroom, Your Honor.
Are they both present?
This case, Rangel, no.
Neither one is there?
No,
Correct,
Your-
Judge.
No,
No?
no, Your Honor.
Okay, this case will be passed then. Moving on. Page 3. The court calls 2021 FLA 1796 D4 Yosabani Azanet Herrera versus Juan Manuel Luna Vasquez.
No response, your part.
I show there's no service, no waiver, no decree, so this case will also be passed.
And they're not present, Your Honor.
Okay, yeah, please let me know if they show up so I can tell them what they have to do. The next case on the docket is 2021 FLA 1810 D1 Anahi Villarreal de Mandel versus Jose Francisco Carrera.
Anaí Villarreal is present, Your Honor.
He's not present.
Ms. Villarreal is present.
Okay, let me talk to her real quick. There's no
Yes.
service, so there's not a whole lot we're gonna be able to do with this.
Sí. She needs an interpreter.
Well, let me talk to her just in Spanish. Señora Villarreal,
Sí,
buenas tardes.
buenas tardes.
Mira, estoy revisando el archivo de su causa. Metió la petición correctamente para divorciarse, pero no hay ninguna indicación que le mandaste aviso al señor Francisco Carrera que se están divorciando. El aviso tiene que ser legal, no solamente que le llamaste por teléfono o le mandaste copia. Hay un papelito que se llama citation que tiene que estar a ser parte del documento que se le presenta por una persona o por correo donde él firma, y eso es el aviso oficial que recibió la petición. No solamente le puedes llamar y decir nos estamos divorciando. Ahora, si está aquí presente, le puedo preguntar. Adicionalmente, estoy viendo que tienen 4 niños.
Sí,
No hay ninguna indicación que hay cantidades de apoyo para los niños. Así es que va a ser muy difícil determinar eso en este momento. ¿Dónde vive el señor Carrera?
Vive en 407,
Ok.
704 North Martin.
Bueno, es que tienes que ir a la oficina del District Clerk y decirles que necesitas citation con la petición y que necesitas que lo vaya a presentar los sheriffes y ellos se lo lleven físicamente y le avisan legalmente que se está divorciando.
Ok, sí, eso ya había pasado y ya vine para acá y él me firmó, mi esposo me firmó los papeles de divorcio por su propia cuenta. Él no quería saber nada más me dijo que me iba a firmar y ya, él ya no quería.
¿Dónde archivaste esos papeles? Porque ninguno de esos papeles están presentes en este archivo.
Aquí en esta corte los traje el día 8 de febrero. El final degree lo entregué ya firmado por mí y por él y con todas las...
Y también el apoyo, pero también con el apoyo de los niños.
Sí, él tiene que pagar 420 al mes por los 4.
Bueno, y todavía tengo este problema de que como no se lo presentaste legalmente, él puede firmar un waiver diciendo que él está de acuerdo con eso y no lo tiene. Porque no hay manera de asegurarme yo y lo tiene que firmar en frente de un notario. No hay aunque tuviera ese documento firmado por él, no tengo manera de aprobar que en realidad es su firma.
Ok, ¿cómo? Porque me dijeron que si iba un policía, me iban a cobrar dinero por ir a...
Sí, es el sheriff, y es lo que pasa normalmente. Si no quiere pasar por eso, necesitas obtener el waiver. Y hay copias en esas audiencias que tenemos informals, ahí es donde les dan esas formas para llevar, para que él lo firme en frente de un notario que él sabe de este divorcio y que está de acuerdo con lo que está en la orden de divorcio. ¿Ok? Porque aunque tú tenías presentemente ese divorcio, no lo puedo firmar sin ese documento asegurándome que él ya sabe de este divorcio. ¿Ok?
He tenido otro, ahorita el fin de semana, los niños fueron para allá con él, ¿verdad? Porque le tocaban ir. Uno de los niños tuvo un accidente automovilístico con la familia de él, pero él no estaba presente. El niño fue y dio al hospital, pero yo no sabía nada hasta el domingo que me entregaron al niño con todo y papeles.
Eso se arregla con la orden, pero no la he firmado. Señora Villarreal, we need to reset this case. And I'm assuming 2 months for the next, to give her time.
Yes, Judge, I'll go ahead and reset it for April.
And when is the next informals?
Next informal is March 31st and the one in April 20th.
El día 31 de marzo puede venir para que le dé esa forma o puedes ir ahorita y pedírselo. Who can she ask now?
Judge, I have a copy of a blank waiver that she can go ahead and take.
Okay. Que lo firme, llene la forma con el número de esta causa, que lo firme en frente de un notario y archiva eso en el segundo piso. Okay?
Okay.
And then we need to look to see where that decree ended up because if it's, okay? Okay, what's the new, can somebody tell the new date in Spanish?
What was the date, Judge?
In April.
EJ, was it April 20th? Do you have a time?
It was March.
Judge, we wrote down March 31st. Did you want to give an April date?
Well, is that going to be enough time for her? A month? Well, yeah, go ahead and give that date.
I think so, Judge.
Okay. The date, has she left? Okay, let's
I
reset.
think they,
She has a little slip, Judge.
yes, Judge.
Okay, perfect. All right, moving on. Is Olga Alicia Tovar present?
No response.
Olga Alicia Tovar.
No response.
Sí.
Yes.
Señora Tovar. Okay, There, sometiste el waiver en esta causa en español, ¿verdad?
Sí.
Pero tú lo firmaste, no lo firmó el señor Brayer. Brian, sí.
Ajá.
Tú lo firmaste. No, no hay notificación legal que él sabe de esta demanda de divorcio.
Ajá.
Él lo tiene que firmar, no tú. Tú metiste
Sí,
la petición.
Ajá.
Él es el que tiene que firmar.
Divorcio porque no me hablaste.
Sí, la primera vez yo la firmé, pero porque me había equivocado. Pero ya ayer mandé los papeles, pero él está dispuesto a divorciarse. Nomás que él no está aquí, él anda en New York. Y yo el 23 fui ahí con Becky Palomo y les dije que él estaba dispuesto a firmar, nomás que él no está aquí, él anda en New York.
Te conozco la voz.
Judge, I'm sorry. I don't know if there's someone in the room with her because there's no one else that's unmuted.
Well, she said she brought it yesterday and none of it's in the file that I have in front of me.
Sí, es
And-
que él no ha firmado, pero él está dispuesto a divorciarse, nomás que él no está aquí en Laredo, él está en New York.
Pues sí, pero en este momento esos documentos que está dispuesto a firmar no están en el archivo. ¿Él firmó un waiver?
No, no ha firmado nada porque él no está aquí en Laredo, él está en New York, pero
Ok.
él está dispuesto, nomás que.
Te vamos a citar de nuevo el día 31 de marzo. Tiene que firmar el waiver y necesita que firme
en caso-
también la orden de divorcio.
Es
Y
que
nos-
él ya,
Ok, te estoy tratando de decir qué es lo que necesitas hacer y también incluir la cantidad para el apoyo para el niño. ¿Sí entendiste?
sí,
Ok. Bueno, ok. Buena suerte, señora Tovar. Los vemos el día 31 de marzo.
mira, es que le iba a preguntar algo.
Pronto, por favor.
Es que era él y yo ya tuve la corte en enero 18. Yo ya
No.
firmé. Nomás que él no va, él le dijo a mi mamá que él iba a firmar, pero no vino para acá, para Laredo. Él está en New York, pero él está dispuesto, pero no dijo que ustedes pueden firmar por él.
No puedo firmar por él. Si estuviera presente y pudiera haber presentado desde New York en esta audiencia, como tú lo estás haciendo, lo podía aceptar de esa manera, pero no está aquí ahorita, así es que no hay nada que puedo, oficialmente no está reconocido que él sabe de esta demanda. Yo sé que estás hablando con él, pero eso no es suficiente. Ok, nos vemos el día 31 y si no firma, que se presente como tú lo estás haciendo en este momento.
Ok, de marzo, ¿verdad?
Sí, 31 de marzo a la 1:30.
Ok,
All right.
gracias.
Moving on to the next case on page 4. And just so the staff knows, the cases do get a little bit better.
Believe in you, Judge. Thank you.
I told you it was going to be rough going at start. Okay, here we go. The court calls 2021 FLA 1845 D1. Jesus Hernandez versus Jessica Gonzalez.
Response.
Not present in the courtroom.
And no service, no citations, no waivers. That will be passed. Moving on to page 5 of 12. 2021 FLA 1867 D1, Jocelyn Moreno versus Sergio Armando Rangel III.
I'm present.
Good morning, Ms. Moreno.
Good morning.
Is Mr. Rangel going to be present today?
There's been an issue, Judge. Mr. Rangel has been kidnapped in Monterrey.
I'm so sorry to hear that. I read that this morning. I didn't realize the name.
Yes, it's him.
Well,
oh
there's
no.
no service, so we can't do anything. We can't do anything anyways. I'm sorry. You have 2 children?
Yes, I do.
How old are your children?
They're, I'm sorry,
It's okay.
they're 8 and 3.
Okay. Look, there are good reasons why you should probably wait. Okay.
Already been a month. I don't think he's gonna come back. And I don't know what's gonna happen. And I was the one that filed for the divorce.
Okay. Well, look, I don't want to be callous at this moment, Ms. Moreno. You may want to see, you may want to talk to an attorney. Did you all own any property together?
No.
Okay, well, at this point, you probably won't be able to get divorced unless he appears. Okay.
And if he doesn't?
Then the marriage is dissolved. After a certain amount of time, you have to hit, there's a proceeding that you have to go through to determine whether or not the court is willing to accept that he's dead or alive. And you're going to have to go through that. Okay. Again, I'm sorry about having to talk to this way, but if he's dead, then the marriage is dissolved. But that we may not be able to prove that very easily, but after a certain amount of time, the court will probably grant that. But this is not, you don't have any of the documents to do that right now. So you might want to wait, and you may want to talk to an attorney about how that is done. Okay, that's a little bit, that's not really what the pro se divorce docket is for. Okay. All right, so I'm sorry that you're going through this, Ms. Moreno. You might want to try to come into one of the informals to let the staff know if something develops, although I'm sure there might be something in the paper, okay? Best of luck to you and your children, Ms. Moreno.
Thank you, Judge.
Okay. Let her know, send her the informal so that we can get a status.
Yes, Your Honor. It will be in March. So the coordinator for that court will go ahead and send her notice.
Okay. All right, moving on. 2021 FLA 1951 D1 in the matter of Monica de Leon Sanchez and Jose Antonio Sanchez.
Yes.
Mr. Sanchez?
Ms. De Leon is present in the courtroom, Your Honor.
All right, let me- It looks like we got service on this on 11/29/21. Can someone confirm that for me?
Correct, Your Honor. And the final divorce decree
Yes.
was placed in the file.
Yes,
have-
Your Honor.
Before we begin, Ms. Sanchez, are there any minor children? Just, is a child a minor?
Yes,
Is there provisions for child support?
we have an agreement. Yes, we do.
Is that reflected in the decree you filed?
No.
That's it for me, Jeff. May I be excused? Bye.
In the decree you submitted, Ms. Sanchez, is there a reason why he didn't sign it?
I'm not sure. He is currently under house arrest. I'm not sure if that's maybe an issue about it.
Well, no, not really. I mean, he can be presented documents, I'm sure, and sign. And the thing is this, Well, let me ask you this question before I put you under oath. What's the agreement on the child support?
He's giving me 75 to 100 a week.
And again, not to be insensitive, but is he going to be able to continue to pay that if he's under house arrest right now?
He's been paying.
Is it looking like he may be allowed probation, or is he looking at jail time? Do you know?
He's waiting to turn himself in. I believe in March 20, the last March.
So he was in federal court.
Correct.
How many months did they give him, if you know?
18.
Okay, and this is one of the things that's going to, and let me get you on the record and tell you what happens when this situation pops up while we're on the record. Can you please raise your right hand to be sworn in?
Do you solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Can you tell me your full and correct name?
Monica de Leon Sanchez.
And you're currently married to Jose Antonio Sanchez Jr.?
Correct.
Prior to filing for this divorce, did you live in Texas for at least 6 months and Webb County for 90 days?
Yes.
And there is one child of the marriage?
Correct. There's two, but the other one is already 20 years old.
Okay. How old is the minor child?
He's 14.
14, okay. Are you asking the court to grant you a divorce because the marriage has become insupportable?
Yes, Your Honor.
Is there any expectations that you might get back together again?
No, Your Honor.
Is there any property that I need to be made aware of that has to be divided up?
No, Your Honor.
No home or cars or anything like that?
No.
Is your child on Medicare or Medicaid?
Yes.
Ms. Sanchez, one of the things that the court is allowed to do, and it's in extreme situations where the providing parent is going to be incarcerated, is not to, in that instance, the court is allowed to not order child support, because what ends up happening is that he'll go to jail, he'll come out, he's not going to be able to work, obviously. Is it true that you indicated he was going to be there 18 months, about 1.5 years?
Yes.
Okay. And one of the things that the reason they changed that is that he's getting out of jail and may have some difficulty being employed for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Every 6 months, though, even after this decree, you're allowed, after 6 months, you're allowed to come back and revisit the issue of child support.
Okay.
You know, your child will maybe close to 16 or already 16 when the father gets out of jail.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason I can order some child support, but it's not going to get paid because he's in jail.
Yeah.
What the court is going to order, though, and this is a requirement, is that the court is going to order that he does pay $50 a month in Medicare reimbursement. If I don't do that, you run the risk of losing that for your child.
Okay.
Okay, so you need to stay on top of that, that there's some money being paid. If it's not from him, when the child support order goes out, especially when a child is on Medicare or Medicaid, okay? So that's going to be very important for you to keep on top of. because of his
Order.
upcoming incarceration, I'm not going to order child support.
Okay.
But you will be allowed to come back and file a case with the Attorney General's office when he does get out for the remaining time that before the child turns 18, okay?
Yes, Your Honor.
Is there anything else that I need to be made aware of, property-wise or anything else? Are you requesting a name change?
Yes, I am.
Is that reflected in the order?
I put down, yes.
Yes, your name is going to be changed to Monica De Leon.
Correct.
Okay, and that's going to be approved.
Thank you.
Is there any reason why Mr. Sanchez should not be allowed standard visitation for when he gets out of jail?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. Is a standard visitation order? Yes, it is. Okay. You are, oh, here it is. Okay. Okay, Ms. Sanchez, based on your testimony and the evidence before the court is going to grant your divorce on the grounds of insupportability. The court is going to order Medicare reimbursement in the amount of $50. No child support is going to be ordered because of the upcoming incarceration. Just remember that if he doesn't go to jail, and if it's a federal sentence, he's going to go.
Yeah.
Then you're allowed to come back and ask the AG to reset this, okay?
I will. Thank you.
All right, good luck, Mrs. De Leon, going forward. Thank you for having everything.
Thank you.
All right. Moving on to page 6 of 12. The court calls. What's that? Okay, put that up there. I have one in here as well. Is this updated or something? Cristobal Mendez? Oh, this one, the one I'm about to call. I thought the one I just did. Okay. Court calls 2021 FLA 1953 D3 Cristobal Mendez and Noela R. Mendez. Or what?
They're both present.
All right, 2 children. So they have child support. No, they do not. Good afternoon, Mr. Mendez and Ms. Mendez. Do you understand English?
Yes, good afternoon.
Yes.
Okay, we're going to get started on your case here, but I do have a question to ask both of you. I looked at the decree that you brought in today. There's no provisions for child support, and I show that you have 2 children. Are they minors?
They are actually, one is 7 and the other one is 17.
Okay, do you have an agreement as to the amount of child support that's going to be paid?
Correct.
You do? Okay, perfect. Then we can go forward. I'll ask you both on the record here. I'm going to ask both of you to raise your right hand and be sworn in, please.
Do you solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Thank you.
Ms. Mendez, I'm going to ask Mr. Mendez some questions because he's the petitioner, and then I'll come back to you in a little bit, okay? I need to establish the court's jurisdiction over this case. Mr. Mendez, can you please state your full and correct name?
Cristobal Mendez.
And you're currently married to Noela Mendez?
Yes.
Prior to filing the divorce, did one or both of you live in Texas for at least 6 months and Webb County for 90 days?
Yes.
And you have, at the moment, you have 2 minor children?
Correct.
Are you asking the court to grant you a divorce because the marriage has become insupportable?
Yes.
Is there any reasonable expectations that you might get back together again?
No.
And that, Ms. Noela Mendez, the same question. Any reasonable expectations that you might get back together again?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. Have you all decided on who the children are going to live with?
Yes.
Who's, oh,
With-
Miss Mendez.
Yes.
Let's see that. And is there any reason why Mr. Mendez should not have full standard visitation?
No, there's not any reason.
Okay, so he will be granted standard visitation.
Yes,
And that's every first, third, and fifth, and alternating holidays.
yes.
Your Honor, I have a question.
Sure.
Now that you mentioned the visitation, if I were to go in any other day, would that be okay if she's in agreement?
Yes, and yeah, you need to understand that standard visitation kicks in. You all can agree to whatever you want to do going forward. However you all want to do it. It's when you cannot agree that the standard visitation applies, but as managing conservators, joint and possessory, you're free to do whatever you want. If you have a disagreement as to Christmas or New Year's, then you can look at the standard visitation, the birthdays and stuff like that. It's usually alternating. It's pretty much 50-50, and there's special provisions for summer breaks and spring break and stuff like that. But again, you all are free to do whatever you want.
Okay.
And Mr. Mendez, you'll be paying child support. Hold on, let me fill in your name here. And let me ask the question, are your children on Medicare or Medicaid?
No.
No.
So there is what's the amount per month that you're going to be paying in child support, Mr. Mendez?
I agreed to give her $150 every 2 weeks.
Okay, 150. Is that correct, Ms. Mendez?
Yes.
Every 2 weeks.
It's personally not through child support. It's not through child support.
Okay. He can mail it to the child support office. And Mr. Mendez, this is more for your protection than anything else.
Well, Your Honor, we've been doing this for the past couple of years. We have a good understanding, good communication, and I've been giving her that amount and sometimes a little bit more every 2 weeks. And I don't foresee any issue, coming of this, where we have to go through another, facility.
And it goes through the bank account.
Yeah.
Okay, well, and just let me, again, for your own protection, so you know, I would suggest that you not do it by cash, because if the issue comes up in the future, and again, I'm not trying to, but this happens all the time, there's not going to be any record of you making payments. So if 5 years from now, she says, well, he hasn't paid me anything, the first thing the AG's office is going to do is check their registry, and it's going to show 0. So they're going to initially say you owe whatever that amount is. You're going to have to come into court with every single check and prove that you've been paying child support at this amount. Do you understand that?
I do, Your Honor.
Okay. And also, Ms. Mendez, when the older child reaches 18, is that amount going to stay the same?
Yes, Your Honor, we're going to keep it the same.
Okay, there will not be a step down. Normally, there is a 5% reduction when you lose a child eligible for child support, but there's not going to, in your agreement, what you're telling me, there is not going to be a step down. No step down. That will be approved. And again, Mr. Mendez, you're free to pay additional support. That's, you're the father. That's to be commended. The mother is going to determine the residency.
Yes.
Yes.
Is there any property that have to be made aware of that has to be divided up?
No.
Okay. Before, what arrangements are being made for health insurance and stuff like that?
I'm gonna provide it through my employer.
Okay, there's not going to be a Medicaid or Medicare reimbursement, so that is going to be part of the order that you provide insurance through your employer, Mr. Mendez, okay?
Yes, sir.
Ms. Mendez, are you requesting a name change?
No.
All right, so we covered, there's no property that I have to divide up, right? Vehicles or anything like that?
No.
And I'm sorry, Ms. Mendez, to ask you this again. I know you told me, but I'm going through your document. There's no name change, right?
No, sir. No, Your Honor.
Okay, you're both present, so based on your testimony and the evidence before the court is going to grant your divorce on the grounds of insupportability. Court is going to grant or approve the agreement of $150 every 2 weeks with no step down. Mr. Mendez will be ordered to provide health insurance for the children through his employer. And the decree will be signed today's date, February 23rd. You all have any questions before I cut you loose?
No, I don't.
Is there anything we need to sign? Anything else?
No, I'm signing the divorce decree, and it's my, if you weren't here, I would have required your signature, but since you're here in court and you're both under oath, I don't need you to sign anything else. So. All right, do need to review this a little bit. Any other questions?
No, Your Honor.
No, Your Honor.
Okay, you're both excused, and best of luck to both of you going forward. You have 2 children, and it looks like you all are working through this, so I'll encourage you to keep doing that for the sake of your children.
Well,
Best of luck to both of you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
The next case on the docket is Erica Gonzalez Rodriguez versus Juan Flores Jr., 2021 FLA 2028 D1.
Both present.
Both present.
Yes, Your Honor.
No decree.
Speaker from the.
Sí, they need interpreter.
Okay, let me talk to him and make sure we can go forward, because there was service, but señora Rodríguez y señor Flores, estoy viendo que tienen 2 hijos de menor de edad. ¿Tienen un acuerdo sobre el apoyo para los niños?
Ahorita formalmente no, por eso estamos aquí. Podemos llegar a acuerdo o por medio de...
Pues mira, no tienen el documento final. Lo que pasa en estos instantes, podemos dar una fecha nueva, o si tomo testimonio de los 2 sobre el apoyo, van a tener que vivir con la decisión que yo haga sobre el apoyo para los niños. Pueden regresar el día 31 de marzo con un acuerdo, o van a tener que vivir con mi decisión sobre esa cantidad hoy. ¿Cuál prefieren?
Yo había puesto que iba a pedir el child support basándose en lo que él ganaba, so no sé.
Pues sí, es lo que voy a hacer yo también, pero necesito oír testimonio sobre eso. y les voy a pedir a los dos qué tanto gana el señor. Normalmente para dos niños el porcentaje es 25% de lo que gana
Sí,
mensualmente.
$12 la hora es por quincena, es por semana es 440, por quincena son 880 antes de taxas.
Sí, no, y tomamos en cuenta, voy a tomar en cuenta, es después de las taxas y todo, es la cantidad que tomo en cuenta. Y también sobre seguranza para los niños. ¿Están en Medicaid o Medicare?
Sí.
Ok. Y va a haber una cantidad también para que no pierdan ese derecho. ¿Están dispuestos a ir adelante entonces sobre? Ok. ¿Y hay propiedad que tengo que dividir también?
Sí, tengo un documento notarizado, firmado por los dos, llegamos a un acuerdo. Estoy cediendo, no está pagada completamente la casa, pero estoy cediendo la propiedad y un vehículo.
¿Y quién va a pagar la deuda?
Se va a hacer cargo ella hasta que se termine. Claro, o sea, esa parte también yo voy a tratar de asistirla de esa manera. Pero,
¿Cuántos años faltan en la nota?
¿Perdón?
¿Cuántos años faltan en la nota?
Como 15, 16. Es la mitad ya que falta.
Está bien. Ok. ¿Pueden levantar las dos, sus manos derechas para tomarles su juramento?
Do you solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Ustedes juran decir la verdad, toda la verdad y nada más que la verdad bajo el amparo de Dios.
De acuerdo.
Gracias.
Eso es.
Okay, Mr. Flores, I'm going to ask Erica some questions to establish the jurisdiction of the court because she filed a petition.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Your true and correct name, Ms. González Rodríguez?
Sí.
Señora González Rodríguez, ¿cuál es su nombre cierto y correcto?
Erika con CK González Rodríguez.
And you're currently married to Juan S. Flores Jr.?
Y actualmente está casado con Juan S. Flores Jr.
Sí.
Yes.
Prior to filing for the divorce, did you live in Texas for at least 6 months and Webb County for 90 days?
Antes
Sí.
I'm just going to translate it, Judge.
Yeah.
Antes de, archivar la demanda para el divorcio, usted vivió en el estado de Texas por 6 meses y en el condado de Webb por al menos 90 días?
Sí.
Yes.
Are you asking the court to grant you a divorce because the marriage has become insupportable?
¿Usted está solicitando que la tribunal le otorgue su divorcio porque se ha vuelto insoportable el matrimonio?
Sí.
Yes.
Any reasonable expectations you might get back together again?
¿Hay alguna expectativa razonable que ustedes se vayan a juntar de nuevo?
No.
And I'll ask you the same question, Mr. Flores. Any reasonable expectations that you might get back together again?
Y le hago la misma pregunta a usted, señor Flores. ¿Hay alguna expectativa razonable que ustedes se vayan a juntar de nuevo?
No.
No.
And Ms. Gonzalez, are there 2 minor children of the marriage?
Señora González, ¿hay 2 hijos menores del matrimonio?
Sí.
Yes.
And no others are expected?
Y no se esperan otros niños.
No.
No.
Have you agreed that, who have you agreed is going to be the parent where the children live with?
¿Y con quién ha estado de acuerdo que
Con él.
el niño va a vivir?
Conmigo.
The mom.
With me.
Is there any reason why Mr. Flores should not be granted full standard visitation?
¿Hay alguna razón por la que el señor Flores no se le deba otorgar la visitación estándar completa?
No.
No.
So, Mr. Flores, after taxes and deductions for Social Security, what is your net pay every 2 weeks, or is it weekly?
Every 2 weeks.
How much is that?
After taxes,
After taxes and deductions for Social Security, union dues, if you have that too.
780 take home.
Mr. Flores, the state requires me to apply the guidelines to the wages you earn. For 2 children, it's 25%. And that equals $195 every 2 weeks. You can pay more as the need arises, but you will be required to pay $195, that's 25%. Now, one of the childs will be reaching 18 soon. Have you all talked about whether there's going to be a step down, which you're entitled to, Mr. Flores?
No, sir.
So even after the younger or the older one turns 18, are you going to continue to pay $195?
Yes, sir.
And you're also going to be ordered to pay $75 a month to Medicare reimbursement. And the reason I'm doing that is if I don't put that amount, you run the risk of losing that coverage, okay? Okay, now let's talk about the property. What is the agreement you said you had regarding the house? And give me the address first.
141 Los Fresnos Loop, Laredo, Texas.
Los what?
Los Fresnos Loop.
Los Fresnos?
Loop, yes. Laredo, Texas, 78046.
And if I understood you correctly, you're agreeing to give her the home?
Yes, I mean, yeah, I have it.
And as part of that, Miss Gonzalez, you're going to assume the debt that's remaining on the home. Is that what I understood?
Señora González, como parte del acuerdo que ustedes han hecho con respecto a la casa, usted se va a quedar con la casa y como parte de eso, usted asumirá la deuda restante de la casa.
Sí.
Yes.
Ms. Gonzalez, do you understand that if you are unable to make those payments, go ahead.
Señora González, ¿ustedes entienden que si no puede hacer esos pagos,
The mortgage company is going to still sue both of you?
la compañía de la hipoteca los va a demandar a ambos?
Sí.
And Mr. Flores will have a right to claim whatever money he loses because of that against you.
Y el señor Flores tendrá el derecho a reclamar el dinero, cualquier cantidad de dinero que él pierda en su contra.
Sí.
Yes.
Is there any other property that I have to be made aware of?
No más, just a vehicle, just a property and a vehicle.
Who's going to stay with the vehicle?
She's gonna stay with the vehicle.
What kind of vehicle is it?
It's a SUV, 2017 Nissan Armada.
Nissan. Is that paid for?
No, sir. No, Your Honor. Sir.
And you're going to assume the debt on that as well, Ms. Gonzalez?
Señora González, usted asumirá la deuda de la Nissan 2017.
Sí,
También, ¿es correcto? Yes.
sí.
That will be approved.
Eso será aprobado.
Anything else that I need to be made aware of?
¿Hay alguna, cualquier otra cosa que deba de la cual me tengan que informar?
No.
No.
Okay, based on the testimony, the court's going to grant the divorce on the grounds of insupportability. The parents are going to be awarded joint managing conservator with the mom retaining the right to decide where the children live.
Basado en el testimonio, la tribunal otorgará el divorcio.
The mother will get to
Los-
determine.
Ambas partes tendrán la tutela compartida y la madre tendrá el derecho de designar la residencia de los menores.
Child support is being ordered at 195 every 2 weeks.
Manutención de los niños será ordenado en la cantidad de 195 cada 2 semanas.
With a Medicare reimbursement of 75.
Con un reembolso de Medicare en la cantidad de $75 al mes.
No step down when the older child reaches maturity.
Sin bajar esa cantidad cuando el hijo menor llega a la...
Mayor.
Cuando el hijo mayor llega a la edad.
The wife will be awarded, the court makes the following division and finds a division just and equitable. The house on 141 Los Fresnos Loop will be awarded to the wife along with the debt in its entirety. And the 2017 Nissan Armada also with all its debt in its entirety.
La esposa recibirá la casa en 141 Los Fresnos con toda la deuda y la Nissan Armada 2017 con toda su deuda en su totalidad.
I'm assuming there's no name change needed.
Estoy asumiendo que no hay un cambio de nombre que se vaya a necesitar.
No.
No.
Anything else before I cut you loose?
No,
¿Hay
Your Honor.
alguna cosa?
Okay.
No.
The decree is going to be ready in about 1 or 2 days. I have to fill out the form. So it usually takes a day or two since one was not provided. So I'll get notice from the clerk when you can pick it up.
El decreto final estará listo en 1 o 2 días. Tengo que llenar esa forma, ya que no se proporcionó uno.
Your Honor, I have a question
Yes.
real quick. Do you need a copy of the paper that we made or just?
No, the final decree of order is going to can be used to finalize who owns that property. So she's being awarded that property. It'll say that in the decree that I'm going to prepare for you all. Okay?
Okay, sir.
So that document may be helpful further on down the line. It shouldn't be. The decree should be enough. When you're finished paying for the house, the decree should be enough for you to get that house in your name solely. The mortgage company is going to give you a title in both your names, but you'll be able to take the decree and have that changed into your name. So hold on to that agreement as well. That'll be helpful as well.
Yes.
Thank you both, and I wish you both the best. Thank you for coming in.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Your excuse. Moving on to page 7. I think the last case with children, so it'll move faster. The court calls 2021 FLA 2039 D1 Luis Ortiz III and Myra Alejandra Ortiz.
Hello, Your Honor.
Good afternoon, Mr. Ortiz. Is Myra Alejandra Ortiz going to be present today?
Yeah, she's present
Yes.
via the Zoom meeting as well.
Mhm.
Good afternoon to both of you. Okay, I reviewed your decree, and do you all have an agreement regarding child support?
Yes, at this time, we decided this whole divorce is amicable, so we decided we're not going to go for the child support, and we would just like to share custody.
Well, you can. The problem is this, before I start taking testimony.
Okay.
I don't want to mess up any agreement you have, but the laws require me to take into account the best interest of the children. And doing that requires me to put in an amount of support. And I don't know how I can get around that. I mean, do you both work?
Yes, we do.
How old is your child?
13.
Who, and Ms. Ortiz, do you earn more than Mr. Ortiz?
Perhaps, I mean,
It's very unusual to do this, what you're asking, and I haven't decided. I mean, even a nominal amount would make me feel a lot better, because look, and weird things happen. And is a child living with you, Miss Ortiz?
we share her 50-50. She's there Monday through Friday afternoon. And she's with me from Friday afternoon to Sunday. But I pick her up from school in the afternoons. So we try and do it 50-50.
And you've been here since the beginning, and you heard me talk to those other folks that as far as visitation goes, you all are free to do whatever you want. The only time the visitation orders come into play is when you cannot agree. What do you work as, Mr. Ortiz?
I work with City of Laredo as a 911 program specialist.
Look, and this is the other reason I need to. I mean, how long have you been with the city?
15 years now.
In the event that something should happen to Mr. Ortiz, he's probably listed as beneficiaries, and he'll probably be changing that soon. Do you believe this is going to work for you, Miss Ortiz, Alejandra, Ms. Myra?
Yes. The what? Not having a child support, or
Yes, not having an order of child support.
I mean, we've been separated for what, maybe 7 months already. And
where you've been living away, yeah.
yeah. And I mean, I'm on my own. He does not help me with anything.
I mean, I have two kids, and it's expensive to raise two children, or one child even.
Mm-hmm.
Well, look, all right. I mean, you should have also heard that you're going to have to wait 6 months if you change your mind to come back and have this revisited.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right, let's go ahead and get you both sworn in. Can you please raise your right hands?
Do you solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I swear.
Mr. Ortiz?
I swear.
Okay.
Thank you.
So Mr. Ortiz was the one that filed the petition, so I'm going to ask him some questions to establish jurisdiction of the court. Mr. Ortiz, is your true and correct name Luis Ortiz III?
Correct.
And you're currently married to Mayra Alejandra Ortiz?
Yes, Your Honor.
And how long have you been separated? 7 months?
7 months.
Prior to filing for the divorce, did you live in Texas for at least 6 months and in Webb County for 90 days?
Yes.
Are you asking the court to grant you a divorce on the grounds that the marriage has become insupportable?
Yes.
Any reasonable expectations that you might get back together again?
No.
And I'll ask you the same question, Mayra Alejandra Ortiz.
Mhm.
Any reasonable expectations you might get back together again?
No, no, Your Honor.
And you have one minor child that's 14,
13.
13? Okay.
Mhm.
No other children are expected of the marriage?
No, sir.
Is there health insurance being provided for the child?
Yes.
Yes, through my employer.
Okay. Any problem with me ordering that you continue to do that, Mr. Ortiz?
No, not at all. I plan on continuing that. Right now, I'm on a family plan. I'll probably be removing my spouse once the divorce is finalized. However, I will continue to support my daughter. That includes health, vision, and dental.
Okay. And again, just any reason why I should not award standard visitation to both of you all in the event you cannot agree on visitation for the child?
No.
No.
And the child will be living with the mother, Mayra Alejandra Ortiz?
We discussed that. That's up to you, Myra. As of right now, I just figured since I'm still at the house that we currently own together, this is where she is most of the week as a primary residence.
Well, and this comes into play when deciding which school they're going to, if the mother wants to change or you want, so someone has to be able to do that in order to designate the proper school districts, because they will look at this. And you can designate the house with him, Ms. Ortiz, for the purposes of it, attending school, but somebody has to have the right to decide where the child is going to live. The child is a female, is a girl.
Yes.
So you all are going to have joint managing conservatorship. In other words, you're going to have equal share in everything and the right for all the information. The only difference is going to be is that the mother gets to decide where she lives. And this is the other thing, Ms. Ortiz, there was an indication that you moved away. Did you move out of the city?
No, I'm in Laredo.
Oh, you're in Laredo, okay. Any geographical restrictions that you want me to place or hear about? In other words, if she decides to move to Dallas, she's going to be able to designate her residence over there, Mr. Ortiz. You understand that?
Yes, I understand.
All right. You still have full visitation and, there's provisions for living further than 100 miles.
Right.
Again, but you're free to agree to however you want to do it going forward.
Okay.
And again, this is something that can be revisited, but not until another 6 months. It could be a year from now, 3 years from now. Okay, the health insurance is taken care of. Ms. Ortiz, are you requesting a name change?
Yes, sir.
Is that reflected in the order?
I think we did submit the paper.
Your new name is going to be Mayra Alejandra Garza?
Yes.
That will be approved. All right, let's talk about the property. Did you all make provisions for the division of property?
Yes, we purchased a home while we were married, so both our names are on it. It's still something I'm paying for right now. We have plans in the event that if and when we decide to sell it, we're going to sell it together and possibly just divide up the equity that we have in our home.
Who's going to be responsible for the debt on the home?
I am, as of right now.
Well, I mean, so the house will be divided up. Make sure I'm not putting words in your mouth. If I understand you, we're going to divide up the house 50-50, but your soon-to-be ex is going to be awarded exclusive residency there. She gets to live there, okay? And so if the house is sold, yes, you each own 50%, but you're assuming the entire debt?
Yes, I've been paying for it.
And you're going to, well, how many years are left on the note?
We've been here 15, so it was a 30 year, so 15.
You've got, so you're going to assume the rest of the 15-year note?
Yes.
Now these things come up. Who's going to decide whether or not the house is going to get sold?
That's something that we'd be willing to work together with.
Well, so what happens in 5 years if your daughter goes to college and decides she's never coming back? So, I mean, my suggestion would be in the event that Ms. Ortiz should decide to move out of that house, the house will be sold, or you all can agree to whether it's sold, or I guess you can move back, Mr. Ortiz.
Yes, we can agree. Right now, I'm still living here at the house.
you're-
Yeah, I'm still living here, and Mrs. Mayra Ortiz is she has her own place right now in an apartment.
Okay, I misunderstood then what's happening here. Is she moving back into the house?
No.
No.
Okay. So, and I have to, again, just to avoid problems, then, so Mr. Ortiz is gonna have exclusive use of the home.
Yes,
Okay,
Your Honor.
but you're gonna retain a 50% interest in the event it's sold.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, I'm 50-50. Husband, exclusive use because he's paying for it, and he has also is going to assume that works. 100% of the debt. And in essence, your half of the debt is going to be what he's paying you for rent for at least for the next 15 years. Okay, that works out. Anything further that we have to divide up any vehicles?
Yes, I believe on the final decree, we listed 2 vehicles. Right now, I'm currently driving a Dodge Challenger, which I'm still paying. That's my vehicle. And I owned a 2014 Toyota Tundra, which she's driving right now at the moment. When we made the purchase, it was under my name. So I plan on transferring the title over to her so she can assume ownership.
Because I paid.
Okay, I see the 2 vehicles. So, Ms. Garcia, you're going to get the Tundra?
Yes, Your Honor.
I see.
I paid, it was under his name, but I paid for the vehicle. So it's
paid
been,
for.
it's already paid for.
Title's already under your name. Okay, got it. No, that's there. All right, the name change has been approved. Is there anything else?
No, I don't think so. We have some credit cards with debts on them that we're just also working together with separating that. I'm assuming 2 while she kept 1, and we're just going from there. I don't know if we have to make it official.
Only if you want to. If not, I mean, it's 50-50 debt, or we could do your debt, you assume the debt of the card you're in possession of.
Yeah, I think that's what we'll do. Not that it has to be official or anything. We've been working together on that.
All right, I mean, just out of curiosity, what's the combined debt on those credit cards?
12, 16,000.
No, that's not too bad. And you're gonna assume two of those and she's gonna assume one. And that
Correct.
seems to be working.
Yes.
All right, well, if it doesn't work in the future, if we don't mention anything, the fallback is going to be 50-50.
Mhm.
You understand that? Okay, and that's just by operation of law, not by anything that I'm saying here today. Okay, so if you can't work it out, that's the fallback. But you'll have to come back to court to argue that. Okay, anything else?
No.
All right, the court is going to approve the property division and I find that it's fair and equitable. The court is also going to approve, under this circumstances, no child support based in part. The child is 5 years from maturity, and it seems to be working out with just admonishing the parties that the order of child support is subject to review again in 6 months. And visitation.
That's at our discretion, is it not, Your Honor?
Yeah, someone has to come forward. And yes,
Oh, okay.
yeah, and mainly in this situation, it would be Myra Garcia. Okay, just want to make sure you know what you're dealing with.
Right.
All right, and the court has granted the divorce based on the grounds of insupportability. And once I review the decree to make sure it reflects today's pronouncement, then you'll get notice from the court that it's ready for pickup. I think they send you a copy in about 7 days. So you can come and pay $1 a page if you want it sooner than that. Well, thank you both. The divorce is granted. It's going to have today's date, the 23rd of February. Thank you for working together. And that's usually a benefit for your child. So I commend you and encourage that you continue to work together for the benefit of your daughter. Thank you both.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All
Thank
right,
you.
take care.
Thank you.
All right, the next case, we should go a little quicker now. There's no children on the following cases. The next case on the docket is 2021 FLB 1195D1 Juan de Dios Ventura Casiano versus Alejandro Marchan Herrera.
No response, neither party, Your Honor.
Mr. Isn't this one of the ones I granted a service by posting or no?
Yes,
Okay.
Your Honor.
Yeah. Well, it's ready for divorce. They just need to show up. Okay, we'll pass this case and reset. Next case on the docket is 2021 FLB 1483 D2 María Claudia Ramírez and José Dolores Ramírez.
Aquí está el señor juez.
Buenas tardes, señora Ramírez.
Buenas tardes.
Ya revisé su archivo y le voy a decir que esta es la primera causa que está completamente lista para el divorcio.
Gracias.
No va a haber problemas. Ok. Puede levantar la mano derecha para que le tomen el juramento.
Do you solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Thank you.
Sorry.
Okay, the court is going to take judicial notice that the return on service by posting has been on file since December 1st, 2021. Is your true and correct name María Claudia Ramírez?
Tu nombre verdadero y correcto es María Claudia Ramírez?
Sí.
Yes.
Can somebody tell me? Are both your children are 18, correct? Ms. Ramirez?
Sus hijos, señor Ramírez, los dos de sus hijos son mayores de 18, ¿correcto? Ambos,
Sí.
ambos niños? Yes.
Sí.
Yes.
And no other children are expected?
Y no se espera ningún otro niño.
No.
No.
Before you filed this divorce, did you live in Texas for at least 6 months and Webb County for 90 days?
Antes de presentar el divorcio, usted vivió en Texas durante 6 meses y en el condado de Webb durante al menos 90 días.
Sí.
Yes.
Are you asking the court to grant you a divorce because the marriage has become insupportable?
¿Usted está pidiendo que la tribunal le conceda el divorcio porque se ha vuelto insoportable el matrimonio?
Sí.
Yes.
Any reasonable expectations that you might get back together again?
¿Hay alguna expectativa razonable que ustedes se vayan a juntar de nuevo?
No.
No.
And according to the petition and the decree, there is no property to be divided.
Y según la petición y el decreto final, no hay propiedad que se tenga que dividir.
No.
No.
Based on the testimony and the filings with the court is going to grant the divorce on the grounds of insupportability. The name change is being approved.
Basado en su petición y el testimonio que ha proporcionado, la corte otorgará el divorcio.
The name change will be approved.
Y el cambio de nombre será aprobado.
Your new name is going to be María Claudia Aranda.
Sí.
Su nombre será María Claudia Aranda.
Sí.
Yes.
The decree has been signed. You will be getting a copy in about 7 days.
El decreto ha sido firmado. Usted recibirá una copia en algunos 7 días, más o menos.
Una pregunta. Debo de ir ahí con la cajera, ¿verdad? En el segundo piso.
Question, would I need to go to the second floor with the lady?
They'll mail you one, te mandan uno por correo o puedes venir más rápido y pagar $1 por página.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank
I
you.
just told her she could pay $1 page if she wants it sooner than 7 days. Any other questions?
¿Alguna otra pregunta?
No.
No.
Buena suerte, señora Ramírez, y gracias.
Gracias.
Caso cerrado. Como dice.
Caso cerrado.
Buena suerte, señora. All right, moving on to the next case on page 8 of 12, 2021 FLB 1969D4, Martha Maria Alvarado de Villegas versus Alejandro Jesus Villegas.
She's present, Your Honor.
He's not.
Oh, okay. I need to talk to her real quick about this.
Buenos días.
Buenos días, señora Villegas. Necesito informarle que todo está en orden, ¿ok? Pero el problema es que la notificación al señor Villegas no le tocó hasta el día 14 de este mes. Por ley, tiene el primer lunes después de 20 días para hacer una respuesta. Y si le otorgo el divorcio en este momento, no va a ser legal. ¿Ok? Por ley le tenemos que dar esos 20 días. Pero todo está en orden, todo, la orden y todo eso. El problema es que voy a tener que citarla de nuevo para que pasen esos 20 días. ¿Ok? Y necesito eso especialmente porque no firmó la orden final. Pero si no hace la respuesta dentro de después de esos 20 días, no necesito su firma.
Ok.
Le puedo otorgar el divorcio por default, no sé cómo se dice eso en español, pero por default, por no aparecer, ¿ok? Pero todo está en orden nomás, ese es el tiempo legal que absolutamente tengo que esperar, ¿ok?
Ok, entonces la vez que me citen y que venga yo aquí, ya se va a firmar lo que es usted va a firmar lo que es el divorcio.
Sí, porque ya lo sirvieron el día, que dije el día 20, no, el día 11 de este mes. Tienen que pasar esos 20 días. Es el primer lunes después de 20 días.
Ok.
Ok.
Sí.
Ok, nos vemos aquí el día 31 de marzo a la 1:30.
Ok, está muy bien, muchas gracias.
Bueno. Then that'll be reset for that date. Page 9. Court calls 2021 FLB 1999 D3 in the matter of Ismael Abraham G. Villarreal and Claudia Alejandra Carrera.
Both present, Your Honor.
Good. Do they need an interpreter?
They're going to need one interpreter, Your Honor.
Okay, let me talk to them real quick. According to what I have, there's no children, no hay niños. Va a haber propiedad que se tiene que dividir. Is there property that has to be divided?
No.
Okay, then we're ready to proceed. Can you both please raise your right hand to be sworn in?
¿Puede levantar la mano derecha?
Do you solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? So help you God?
Ustedes juran decir la verdad, toda la verdad y nada más que la verdad bajo el amparo de Dios.
Sí, lo juro.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Ms. Carrera, I'm going to ask Mr. Villarreal questions since he filed the petition, okay?
Señora, I'm sorry, just repeat.
Page 9.
Page 9, yes. Señora Carrera, le voy a hacer algunas preguntas al señor Villarreal porque él es el que archivó el divorcio.
Sí, está bien.
Yes, that's fine.
Oh, and this was a divorce that was just handed to me. Okay, good. That makes it easier. Mr. Villarreal, is your true and correct name Ismael Abraham G. Villarreal?
Es correcto.
That's correct.
Before filing this lawsuit, did you live in Laredo? I mean, in Texas for at least 6 months and Webb County for 90 days?
Es correcto.
That's correct. Judge, I just want to make sure. Does he understand English or does he need me to translate?
Spanish, please.
Mr. Villarreal, you understand English though, right? Some?
A little bit.
Okay. Have you understood my question so far?
Yeah.
Okay. Are you asking that the court grant you a divorce because the marriage has become insupportable?
Es correcto.
That's correct.
What we'll do is, if I'm going to ask you questions in English. If you don't understand, ask for a translation, okay?
Okay.
Perfect. Is there any expectations, any reasonable expectations that you might get back together again?
No.
And I'll ask you the same question, Ms. Carrera. Any reasonable expectation you might get back together?
No,
Señora Carrera, ¿hay alguna expectativa de que ustedes se vayan a juntar de nuevo?
no,
No.
And is it true and correct that there are no children and none are expected?
Es correcto, señor juez, no tenemos.
yo nomás tengo una pregunta.
I just have one question.
Go ahead.
Cuando yo vivía con él, sacamos en una mueblería una sala y ahora me están demandando a mí por no pagarla.
When I lived with him, we took out some furniture pieces and now they're suing me for not paying.
We'll talk about that. We'll talk about that in a little bit, okay?
Hablaremos de eso brevemente.
Okay.
Aside from the debt, is there any other property that I have to be made aware of?
No,
Aparte de la deuda, ¿hay alguna propiedad de la que yo tenga que saber?
no, señor juez.
No.
And I'm assuming no name change is being requested.
Estoy asumiendo que no están solicitando un cambio de nombre.
No.
So the only thing we have to resolve today is what we're going to do about the debt and the furniture, right?
Es correcto.
Lo único que tenemos que determinar hoy es la deuda y qué vamos a hacer sobre los muebles. ¿Es correcto?
Okay, let me ask this question, Ms. Carrera. How much is the debt for?
Señora Carrera, ¿cuál es la cantidad de la deuda?
Son $2,973.54.
2,973 with 54 cents.
And where's the furniture that money was used to buy?
¿En dónde están esos muebles en el que se utilizó el dinero?
Cuando estuvimos juntos, él me dijo que si un día ya no estábamos juntos, todo lo que estaba dentro de donde vivíamos, yo me lo iba a quedar. Esa sala yo la vendí porque yo tuve una operación estando con él y él no me apoyó, yo la tuve que vender.
When we were together, he told me that if one day we were not together, that I would stay with everything in the home. I sold the furniture because I had a surgery when I was with him and he didn't help me out.
Has the surgery been paid off?
Sí.
Yes. La cirugía se pagó, se ha pagado en su
Sí,
totalidad? Yes. Yes, it was paid.
So you have the furniture in your possession then?
Entonces usted tiene los muebles en su posesión.
Sí.
Yes.
What's the name of the company or the store that's charging you this?
Cons.
Did you all talk about this debt before coming here today?
¿Ustedes hablaron sobre esta deuda antes de venir aquí el día de hoy?
El día 8 de febrero, yo le comenté a él.
De hecho, sí me comentó.
On February the 8th, I mentioned it to him. You did tell me about it.
Ms. Carrera, was the surgery because your health was in danger?
Señora Carrera, ¿la cirugía fue porque su salud estaba en peligro?
Sí.
Yes.
Mr. Villarreal, is there, I don't, it may be that you were already having troubles, but is there any reason why you didn't help with that surgery for her health?
Señor Villarreal, ¿hay alguna razón por la cual usted no la ayudó
Claro.
con esa cirugía?
Claro, sí hay razón. Lo
Of
que
course
pasa,
there was a reason.
el detalle aquí fue de que yo a ella le encontré unos mensajes con alguien más. Al
Okay.
momento de enfrentarla a ella pues me agredió. Yo hice reporte al policía, de hecho tengo el número de caso.
It's okay. Okay. I have a good idea of what's happening. Okay.
I found some messages with someone else and I confronted her and she assaulted me. So I did a police report.
How long were you married?
¿Cuánto tiempo estuvieron casados?
Nos casamos en febrero 12 y nos separamos en agosto 1. Bueno, agosto como 15, 16 más o menos.
Agosto 1.
We were married on February the 12th and we separated on August the 1st.
Correcto.
So you were together only about 6 months?
Sí.
Entonces ustedes solo estaban juntos algunos 6 meses.
Sí.
Yes.
All right. Miss Carrera, I'm going to allow you to keep the furniture, but you're going to assume $2,000 of that debt and the other 973. Well, because I'm going to say 973.50 of that debt is going to be awarded to the husband, to Mr. Villarreal, but you're going to be responsible for the payments and everything else after that.
Señora Carrera, voy a permitir que usted se quede con los muebles, pero entonces usted asumirá una deuda en la cantidad de $2,000. Se le otorgará al señor Villarreal $973.50 y ya después usted será responsable por los pagos de los muebles.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Is there anything else?
¿Hay alguna otra cosa?
No.
No.
Y señor juez,
Yes.
Judge.
yo tengo es de que todo ella se llevó, ¿verdad? Yo le dije que se lo llevara, pero si me va a tocar a mí pagar parte de la sala que pues yo no tengo, ¿verdad? Que ella lamentablemente vendió. ¿Usted cree que se pueda vender las cosas que ella se llevó y estar ya saldado en eso? Que ya salga yo.
Pues las cosas prácticamente.
She
ya-
took everything because I told her to take everything. And if I'm going to have to pay part of the furniture she sold, do you think we can sell some of the things she took so that I can be liberated from this?
Mr. Villarreal, the problem is that we could spend the next 2 hours talking about who gets the bed sheets and the towels and the blender, and it's not going to work. Really, this should have been brought up before. If she owns something, I can't order her to sell it. We would have to go into an entire different hearing to determine whether it's even community property. And we're not set up for that. And you should take into account this, Mr. Villarreal. Technically, half that debt, I could have awarded you half of that debt. I only awarded a third. So consider yourself lucky that I didn't order more.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Thank
All
you.
right. Before I change my mind, or all of it. So, all right, Mr. Villarreal and Ms. Carrera. Sorry it didn't work out for you all, but as soon as I make the clarifications on the debt, I'll sign the decree and you'll all be divorced. You'll get a copy in the mail. All right, take care, both of you.
Thank you so much.
Okay,
Thank you, Chief.
all right. Moving on. Next case on the docket is 2021 FLB 12 D3, Durley Rodriguez versus Veronica Cantu.
Present, Your Honor.
All right. Is Miss Cantu present?
Negative, Your Honor.
All right, let me talk to Mr. Durley real quick.
Yes, Your Honor.
There's no service, there's no waiver. Does he understand English?
Yes, I do.
¿En español?
No, in English is fine.
English? Okay, Mr. Rodriguez, I have your file in front of me and you correctly filed the petition for divorce, but there's no legal service on Ms. Cantu. So I have no way of knowing that she even knows about this lawsuit legally. Now, you may have called her and said, hey, we're getting divorced, but that's not legal notice. Does she live here in Laredo?
Yes, she does.
Now, there's two ways to get legal service. You can have her sign a waiver. They'll give you a form right now where she says, I know about the lawsuit. And actually what you should do is get a copy of a final decree and have her sign that too, because according to what I'm seeing here, there's no children and it doesn't look like there's any property to divide. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
So, I mean, if she's shown up here today, I would have done the divorce for both of you. I would have asked her, hey, you want to go forward and I get you divorced. But if I sign a divorce decree for you today, it's not going to be valid.
Okay.
And if you hit the lottery tomorrow, it's going to be half hers.
Okay.
Okay. Do you see how that works?
Yeah, I understand.
I mean, I'm being dramatic, but believe it or not, that's happened. Not maybe here, maybe not here in Webb County, but I know that's happened.
Okay.
So you've got the correct divorce, but you have to either have her file a waiver, and
Okay.
ideally the divorce decree for no children and no property is like 3 or 4 pages.
Okay.
And you get her to sign that, and with a waiver, the waiver has to be in front of a notary, and you're done. Okay.
Okay, sounds good. Can I get those forms here or what do I
Yes.
get?
Before you leave, they're going to give you the waiver. Give them a copy of a final divorce decree, no children, also, so you can fill that out. And she can sign them at the same time, and so she can see. And then you just bring that back on the 31st, and you're done.
I thought we had signed this one already, the divorce decree. No?
I don't think so, Your Honor. It's not in the file.
No,
No, Your Honor, it's not in the file.
no, and you filed the divorce in December 8th. So, I mean, there's not that much time, but you're close,
Okay.
Mr. Rodriguez. But legally, I think you want to do this the right way.
It sounds good.
Because also your income, if you're working, she can come back and say, I want half of that. Okay.
All right.
So get her to sign everything. If she wants a name change, to put it in the decree and all that, and we'll take care of it when you come back on the 31st of March.
Okay, so the first paper was the waiver, right?
Waiver. Okay. And that's her notification to the court. She has to sign that one in front of a notary.
Okay.
And that's her saying, I know about the divorce. I don't want to be served. When someone gets served, usually it's a constable or a sheriff. They go and they hand you the divorce and say, you're being sued. Okay, like you see on TV.
Yeah.
Or you could send it to her certified mail, but she may not sign for it. That's the cheap way, but it's like $5 or $10 for a citation and $85 to have the sheriff go serve her. Or do the waiver, and all you have to do is pay $20 to a notary. Okay?
On the divorce, the final divorce, the decree of divorce, that one needs to be signed in front of the notary or? Just...
No, that one does not, just a waiver.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay?
All right, sounds good. So for the 31st.
All right, we'll see you back here then.
All right, thank you.
Good luck, and don't buy any lottery tickets.
No, I won't.
Okay. All right.
Thank you.
All right, moving on to page 10. Court calls 2021 FLB 2030 D3 Gloria Leal Garza versus Daniel Hugo Garza Adame.
She's present. He's not present, Your Honor.
Yeah, this might be no service, no waiver is what I have on this one.
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Garza, good morning, good afternoon, buenas tardes.
English, right? English, Spanish? It should be speaking English, Your Honor. No translation.
Okay, Ms. Garza,
Yes, sir.
were you listening to what I told the other gentleman?
Yes, I need that too.
Yes, you need the exact same thing. Your divorce decree, I mean, the petition is fine, but I have no legal way of knowing that he knows about this lawsuit and there's no decree. So you need the waiver saying that he signs that, and that's the notification that he knows about the lawsuit. And if he signs the decree, you can bring that in because again, in your case, there's no children, no property, so it should be fairly quick, okay?
So the meeting signed the decree? I remember giving him some forms.
You had to sign it. You had to sign it, that paper.
Crap.
No, yeah. So,
The problem is that he doesn't live here. He lives in Mexico.
okay.
I let him know about the papers.
Okay, yeah, okay, look, so this, all right, yours is a little different then. So there's no children, he lives in Mexico, right?
Mhm. And I'm gonna hard time for him to sign those papers.
No, there's an added step to your dilemma here. Let me swear her in to take testimony. That way I can do a motion. Can you raise your right hand?
Do you solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Thank you, ma'am.
Ms. Garza, is your true and correct name Gloria Leal Garza?
Yes.
Okay. And there's no service in this case. Where in Mexico does your husband live?
And Nuevo León, Sabinas,
Okay, and does he have a visa to come to the US?
he got a green card.
He's got a green card. Does he ever come back?
That I know of, he hasn't been coming in a while.
Okay. So is it true that there are no children of the marriage?
Yes, no children.
Is it also true that there's no property that has to be divided?
Nothing.
Okay. How long were you all married?
We got married in 2012. We separated since 2015 and since then.
Okay, on my own motion, Ms. Garza, I'm going to prepare an order for citation by posting. Okay.
What is that?
In other words, they're going to put a notice on the courthouse steps saying that you're getting divorced, and that'll count. Okay. But on Monday or Tuesday, let's say Tuesday of next week, okay, you're going to have to come to the courthouse with this cause number and pay the fee, right? What's the fee? Is it $8? Can someone? It may be 30.
Let me check, Your Honor, just a minute, please.
Okay. And I'll prepare the order.
Yes, Judge, I believe it's $8.
$8?
$8, Judge.
Okay, so come back on Tuesday and tell them you want to pay the fee for the citation by posting.
Okay.
The order will be in the file, my order saying that we're going to do it that way. And that'll be what we call substitute service. They'll put it up for actually, but you may have to come back in April, I think, just to make sure, because we're already close to March. What date do we have in April?
April 20th.
Okay, you'll have to come back on the 20th to make sure that the legal time passes, because sometimes the district clerk's office they're really busy right now, and it may be a few days before they put it up.
Okay.
And so I want to make sure that the allotted time has passed, because it's got to be up for at least a couple of weeks or 10 days. And then he gets another 20 days after that to file an answer. And if he doesn't do that, you get a default divorce. Okay? So we'll see you back on the 20th of April. Make sure you come back and pay that fee, or else they won't post it. Okay?
Yes.
Your Honor, I gave her a blank copy of the waiver and a final divorce decree, just in
Okay.
case.
If he shows up and he wants to sign the waiver in front of a notary, he can do that too.
I know.
Pay the $8.
Really, as long as I pay the,
The $8, it'll be taken care of.
I don't have to deal with him for this.
Oh, you won't have to deal with him. That's probably better.
Okay, yeah.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Garza.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Oops. All right, moving on to the bottom of page 10. Court calls 2021 FLB 2031D4 Margarita Villarreal versus Daniel Flores.
They're both present, Your Honor.
Oh, excellent. All right. Except I have to prepare the decree. So, good afternoon to both of you.
Buenas tardes.
Buenas tardes. Ok. Antes de comenzar, necesito asegurar que no hay niños y propiedad para dividir, ¿verdad?
Tengo un niño, pero no es de la persona.
Ok. No es niño del matrimonio, ¿verdad?
No.
¿Y no hay propiedad para dividir?
No.
Ok. All right. Les voy a pedir que levanten la mano derecha para que le tomen el juramento, por favor.
Do you solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
¿Ustedes juran decir la verdad, toda la verdad y nada más que la verdad bajo el amparo de Dios?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, Mr. Flores, I'm going to ask her questions because she filed for the divorce first. So, and then I'll come back to you in a little bit.
Okay.
Is your true and correct name Margarita Villarreal?
Su nombre verdadero y correcto es Margarita Villarreal.
Margarita Villarreal Briceño.
¿Puede repetirlo un poquito más alto, por favor?
Margarita Villarreal Briceño.
Margarita Villarreal, ¿es Briceño?
Sí.
Yes.
Can we spell that, please?
Deletrear.
B-R-I-S-E-N-I-O.
C de casa, sí. Briceño.
I think it's N-O with a B. D-R-I-S-E-N-O.
Oh. Briceno o Briceño?
Briceño.
Diseño means an H, in Spanish, Judge.
Yes, Judge.
That's why it's diseño. It's an ñ.
The ñ.
Briceño. Yeah, okay, I got it. No hay I al final antes de la O. Okay, I got it. Okay. Y ahorita, currently you're married to Daniel Flores?
Actualmente está casado con Daniel Flores.
Sí, ma'am.
Yes.
How long have you been separated?
¿Cuánto tiempo tienen separados?
6 años.
6 years.
Are you asking the court to grant you a divorce because the marriage has become insupportable?
¿Usted está pidiendo que la tribunal le otorgue el divorcio porque el matrimonio se ha vuelto insoportable?
Pues la realidad no estamos juntos, o sea, ya el divorcio sí lo quiero.
Well, in reality, we're not together. The divorce, I do want it.
Well, is there any reasonable expectations that you might get back together?
¿Hay alguna expectativa razonable que ustedes se vayan a juntar de nuevo?
No creo.
I don't think so.
I already know the answer, but I have to ask you too, is there, Mr. Flores, any reasonable expectations you might get back together?
Bueno, no puedo decir nada, sinceramente.
No. Well,
I can't say anything. So.
well, can you say, you have to answer yes or no? No. Okay, thank you. And Ms. Garza, did I ask already, prior to filing for the divorce, you lived in Texas for 6 months and in Webb County for 90 days?
Señora Villarreal, antes de solicitar el divorcio, usted vivió en Texas durante 6 meses y en el condado de Webb durante al menos 90 días.
Sí.
Yes.
Okay. Is it true that there are no minor children of the marriage?
¿Es cierto que no hay ningún hijo menor del matrimonio?
No, Es nada más mío.
No, he's just fine.
Okay. And none are expected.
Y no se espera ningún otro.
No.
No.
Is it true that there's no property that has to be divided up?
¿Es cierto que no hay ninguna propiedad que se tenga que dividir?
No.
And there is no name change being requested?
Y no se está solicitando un cambio de nombre.
No, pues nunca usé el apellido de él.
No, I never used his last name.
Okay. So is your, again, just to make sure you're correct, legal name is going to continue to be Margarita Villarreal Briceño.
Sí.
Solo para asegurarse, su nombre será Margarita Villarreal Briceño.
Sí.
Yes.
Okay, anything you all want to tell me before I make the pronouncement of divorce?
¿Hay alguna cosa que ustedes me quieran decir antes de pronunciarlos como divorciados?
No.
No.
Based on the testimony, the court is going to grant the divorce on the grounds of insupportability. There is no property to divide, and the decree will be prepared by the court and submitted with today's date of February 23rd, 2020.
Basado en el testimonio, la tribunal otorgará el divorcio. Basado en que el divorcio se ha vuelto insoportable, no hay división que se tenga que, perdón, no hay propiedad que se tenga que dividir. Voy a preparar el decreto final y será firmado con la fecha de hoy, 23 de febrero del 2022.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Go and be happy, both of you. All right. All right, this one I have to be prepared. All right, moving on to page 11 of 12, for those counting. The court calls 2021 FLB 2032 D1 Blanca Lily Gonzalez de la O versus Jose Blas Vital.
Ms. De La O is present, Your Honor.
All right.
Buenas tardes.
Buenas tardes, señora. Ok. Señora De La O, no sé si has estado oyendo, pero tenemos un problema. Archivaste el divorcio correctamente, pero no hay nada en el archivo que le mandaste notificación legal al señor Vital. ¿Vive aquí en Texas?
Lamentablemente él no tenía papeles. Se fue en el 2017 y yo no volví a saber nada de él. Él era originario de Zacatecas. Yo en el tiempo ese me di cuenta que cuando se casó conmigo, nos casamos, pues yo enamorada, ¿verdad? Pero él ya tenía otro matrimonio. Tenía hijos, me mintió, ¿verdad? Tiene como 5 hijos o 6.
Ok, mira.
Fueron muchas cosas que me mintió, hay muchas mentiras y me dijo cosas que en el momento del enamoramiento, pues uno se casa, ¿verdad? Pero lamentablemente tenía Filipinas, algo así también aquí en Estados Unidos.
Ok. Hay una manera de arreglar esto y vamos a tener que tomar los pasos que tomé anteriormente. No sé si estaba oyendo. Si hay manera de corregir lo que está pasando aquí, pero voy a necesitar que levante la mano derecha para tomarle su juramento.
Do you solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
¿Puedo decir la verdad, toda la verdad y nada más que la verdad bajo el amparo de Dios?
Sí, lo juro.
Yes, I swear.
Gracias.
Okay. Is it true that Mr. Vital is currently living in Mexico, Zacatecas, maybe?
¿Es cierto que el señor Vital actualmente está viviendo en México, en Zacatecas probablemente?
Pues es originario de Zacatecas, me imagino que sí, porque yo no volví a saber nada de él.
Oh, he's originally from there. I assume that yes, because I didn't know anything about him after that.
Is it true that you have not had any contact with him since 2017?
¿Es cierto que usted no ha tenido ningún tipo de comunicación con él desde el 2017?
Así es.
That's right.
And there are no children of the marriage?
Y no hay hijos del matrimonio.
Yo no tengo ni hijos ni propiedades ni nada con él.
I don't have children or property or anything with him.
The court is going to grant you an order to serve him by posting.
La tribunal le otorgará una orden para entregarle notificación vía publicación.
You will have to come back on Tuesday to pay an $8 fee.
Usted tendrá que regresar el martes para pagar un costo de $8.
Ok, el 8 es el día primero. No, sí, ¿verdad?
Is it the first? Yes, right?
Sí, ¿verdad?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
El día primero.
Abajo, ¿verdad?
Okay, make sure you show up on the second floor with this cause number, the 2021 FLB 2032, okay?
Asegúrese de que se presente el día primero al segundo piso con esta causa. 2021 FLB 2032 D1.
Muy bien. Ahorita le
Very well.
And you'll come back for your divorce in April.
Y usted va a regresar en abril para su divorcio.
Muy bien, gracias.
Very well, thank you.
Okay, they're going to give you, te van a dar una copia, una forma del divorcio final. Trate de llenarlo lo mejor que pueda, ¿ok?
Muy bien, muy amable, gracias.
Ahorita no se vaya. No. Okay. All right. Give her a blank decree form and then I'll have the order of posting
Yes, Judge.
before Friday.
Le van a entregar la orden del decreto final para que usted la llene.
And try to fill it out and bring it back before the April, what was the date? April what?
April 20th, I believe, Judge. Trate de llenar esos documentos y trate de traerlos antes de la próxima audiencia, que va a ser el 20 de abril.
Muy bien, muy amable, gracias.
Very well, thank you.
Okay. Buena suerte. All right, moving on. All right, the next case on the docket, there's only two left. Court calls 2021 FLB 2042D4 Jose M. White versus Jessica Morales Hernandez.
I believe Mr. White is present on Zoom, Judge. He's on mute.
How you doing, Mr. White? You're in court. You need to remove
Good,
your
good.
hat.
How are you?
Good.
Oh, sorry.
It's all right. Okay, so, oh shoot, hold on. Did you by chance get an opportunity to submit a proposed order? Is that Ms. Hernandez or no?
Yes. Morales. Ms. Morales is, I believe she is the, there.
There, I see her. No. Can you hear me, Ms. Morales? ¿Me puede oír, señora Morales?
Sí, sí.
Okay. ¿Prefieres en español?
Español, sí.
Okay. Mr. White, I'll tell you in English here in a little bit. Let me explain to her what we're doing.
I understand Spanish too, Judge.
Oh, great, thank you.
That way there won't be any confusion in anything
Señora
like that.
Morales, necesito que deje prendido su video. Okay. ¿Es cierto que no hay niños del matrimonio y no hay propiedad que se necesita dividir?
No.
No.
Ok. Bueno, les voy a pedir a los dos que levanten la mano para que le tomen el juramento, por favor.
Do you solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
En voz más alta, por favor.
¿Usted jura decir la verdad, toda la verdad y nada más que la verdad bajo el amparo de Dios?
Sí.
Yes.
Thank you.
Ms. Morales, I'm going to ask Mr. White some questions because he filed for the divorce, and then I'll come back to you in a little bit, okay?
Señora Morales, le voy a hacer algunas preguntas al señor White porque él presentó el divorcio y luego regresaré con usted.
Okay.
Okay.
Is your true and correct name Jose M. White Jr.?
Yes, sir.
And you're currently married to Jessica Y. Morales Hernandez?
Yes, sir.
Prior to filing for divorce, have you lived in the state of Texas for at least 6 months and Webb County 90 days?
Yes, sir.
Are you asking the court to grant you a divorce because the marriage has become insupportable?
Yes, sir.
Any reasonable expectations that you might get back together again?
No, sir.
How long have you been separated?
We're going on a year.
How long were you married?
For a year and about 6 months.
Okay. Yeah. Did I ask you, is there any expectations, reasonable expectations you might get back together?
No, no, sir.
Ms. Morales, is there any reasonable expectations you might get back together?
Señora Morales, ¿hay alguna expectativa razonable que ustedes se vayan a juntar de nuevo?
No.
No.
Is it true that there are no minor children of the marriage?
That's true. I don't know who it was for.
Either one, but let me go ahead and
Okay,
translate.
yeah.
Do you want me to translate that, Judge?
Yes, please.
Okay. ¿Es cierto que no hay hijos menores del matrimonio?
No, no hay.
No, there's none.
And also, there is no property that has to be divided?
Y no hay
No.
ninguna propiedad que se tenga que dividir.
No, ninguna.
No, none.
Is there anything from either one of you that I need to hear before I make the pronouncement of divorce?
No.
¿Hay alguna cosa de ambas partes que yo tenga que saber antes de que los pronuncie divorciados?
No, ninguna.
No, nothing.
Okay. Based on the evidence and the testimony before the court and the filings, the court is going to grant the divorce on the grounds of insupportability. There's no property to divide, no children, no minor children of the marriage, and no name change is being requested, correct?
Correct.
All right.
Basado en la evidencia y el testimonio que han proporcionado, la corte otorgará el divorcio. No hay propiedad para dividir y no hubo niños del matrimonio. ¿Usted está solicitando un cambio de nombre?
No, nunca he usado su nombre.
No, I never used his name.
Okay, so the court is going to prepare the decree. I didn't have one on file, but it should be out sometime next week. You'll get notice, or actually notice, and you'll get a copy in the mail. If you want to get one quicker, you can come and pay $1 a page.
All right.
La tribunal va a preparar el decreto final. Usted recibirá una notificación y una copia por correo. Si usted gusta una copia antes, entonces puede venir al segundo piso y pagar $1 por página.
Okay.
Okay.
Buena suerte. Good luck to both of you.
Thank you.
Take care.
Gracias.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.
All right, last case on the docket. Yay for everyone. The court calls 2021 FLB 2056 D2 Eric F. Hernandez versus Sonia Annette Lopez Martinez.
They're both present.
Good afternoon, buenas tardes.
Buenas tardes.
¿Prefieren en español?
Sí.
Ok. Antes de comenzar nomás, ¿es cierto que no hay niños del matrimonio y no hay propiedad que se necesita dividir?
Así es.
Ok. Pueden levantar los dos la mano derecha para que le tomen el juramento, por favor.
Do you solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Ustedes juran decir la verdad, toda la verdad y nada más que la verdad bajo el amparo de Dios.
Sí.
I didn't hear Miss Martinez.
Sí.
Yes.
Gracias.
Ms. Martinez, I'm going to ask Mr. Hernandez some questions because he filed for the divorce, okay?
Señora Martínez, le voy a hacer algunas preguntas al señor Hernández porque él presentó la demanda de divorcio. ¿Está bien?
¿Me vas a hacer preguntas a mí?
Yes, I'll come back to you in a little bit.
Ahorita regresamos con usted.
Is your true and correct name Eric F. Hernandez?
¿Su nombre cierto y verdadero es Eric F. Hernández?
Sí.
Yes.
And you're currently married to Sonia Annette Lopez Martinez?
¿Actualmente está casado con Sonia Annette López Martínez?
Sí.
Yes.
How long have you been separated?
¿Cuánto tiempo tienen separados?
Noviembre.
Since November.
How long were you married?
¿Cuánto tiempo estuvieron casados?
Como 2 meses, 2 años y medio.
About 2.5 years.
Before filing for divorce, did you live in the state of Texas for at least 6 months and Webb County 90 days?
Sí.
Antes de solicitar el divorcio, vivió en Texas durante 6 meses y en el condado de Webb durante al menos 90 días.
Sí.
Yes.
Are you asking the court to grant you a divorce because the marriage has become insupportable?
¿Usted está solicitando que la tribunal le otorgue el divorcio porque el matrimonio se ha vuelto insoportable?
Sí.
Yes.
Is there any reasonable expectations that you might get back together again?
¿Hay alguna expectativa razonable que ustedes se vayan a juntar de nuevo?
No.
No.
And Miss Lopez, is there any reasonable expectations that you might get back together again?
Señora López, ¿hay alguna expectativa razonable que ustedes se vayan a juntar de nuevo? I didn't get that, Judge.
En voz más alta, por favor.
No.
Okay.
No.
Ms. Lopez, is it true that there are no minor children of the marriage?
Es cierto, señora López, ¿es cierto que no hay hijos menores del matrimonio?
No.
No.
Is it true that there is no property to divide?
¿Es cierto que no hay propiedad que se tenga que dividir?
Pues él tiene una troca y un carro, pero no me quiere dar nada.
Well, he has a truck and a car, but he doesn't want to give me anything.
Y de casa, propiedad, yo me lo iba a vivir a mi casa, vivíamos en mi casa. Por eso propiedad no hay.
And property, there's none. We were living at my house.
Lo llevé a Nuevo Laredo a vivir allá.
Over there in Nuevo Laredo.
But there's no property here in Webb County that I have to divide up.
Pero no hay propiedad aquí en el condado de Webb que yo tenga que dividir.
No.
No.
And you owned the property in Nuevo Laredo before you were married?
¿Y usted era dueña de la propiedad en Nuevo Laredo antes de que se casara?
Sí.
Yes.
Is that true, Mr. Hernandez?
¿Eso es cierto, señor Hernández?
Sí.
Yes.
Just to be safe, I'm going to list that as your separate property, Ms. Lopez. Can you just give me the street address?
Solo para asegurarnos, señora López, voy a poner eso como su propiedad separada. ¿Me puede dar la calle, la dirección de la propiedad?
Díaz Ordaz, 506, Colonia Concordia.
Díaz Ordaz, 506. Colonia, perdón, ¿puede repetir la colonia?
Concordia.
¿Longoria?
Concordia.
Ah, Concordia.
Concordia, Colonia Concordia.
And it was via, what was the name of the street? Via what?
Díaz Ordaz.
Con S, Sordaz.
Ordaz, con Z las dos.
Con Z.
Ordaz.
Sordaz. Con Z, terminando con Z también. Sordaz.
No sé.
How old is the truck?
14.
¿Cuántos años tiene la troca?
2014.
It's a 2014.
Did you own it before you were married?
Sí.
Yes.
Okay. Is that true, Ms. Lopez?
¿Eso es cierto, señora López?
Sí.
Yes.
And there was another car or just the truck?
Había otro carro, solo la troca.
En otro carro.
The other car.
When did you all buy that car?
¿Cuándo compraron ese carro?
Ese carro no fue.
Esos 6 carros son de él. Nada más que como a mí nunca me compró nada, ni me puso casa, ni nada, por eso yo le dije que yo no estaba de acuerdo con el divorcio, para que me diera algo, estar de acuerdo con eso. O sea, no estuvo de acuerdo que él no me iba a dar nada porque
Those
era-
cars are his. It's just like, since he never bought me anything or bought me a house, then I told him that I wasn't in agreement with the divorce.
Okay. All right. All right. Then anything else before I pronounce the divorce?
¿Alguna otra cosa antes de declarar los divorciados?
Sí, porque el señor aquí no me notificó que yo tenía una audiencia, yo todo me di cuenta por mí solo y falsificó mi firma que supuestamente yo le había firmado, yo no firmé ningún papel. Yo me di cuenta aquí porque vine a pedir el expediente.
Yes, he didn't notify me that I had a hearing. He falsified my signature. I didn't sign any documents. I only found out because I came to ask for the files.
There's a waiver on file. You didn't sign that?
Hay una renuncia en el archivo. ¿Usted no firmó eso?
No, yo nunca firmé nada. Él me notificó.
No, I never signed anything.
Él me dijo que iba a meter nada más la demanda, pero a mí nunca me dijo nada. Yo me di cuenta que firmó por mí porque vine a pedir el expediente. Porque como yo le
No,
dije que
he told me he was going to file for the divorce, but I never signed anything. I found out because I came to ask for the file.
You never stood in front of a notary public named Juan Antonio Reyes?
sí, vi que está certificado.
Usted nunca estuvo enfrente de un notario.
No.
Miss López, me da un segundo, por favor, tengo que traducir todo correctamente. Usted nunca se presentó con un notario. What was the name, Judge?
Juan Antonio Reyes?
¿Usted nunca se presentó con el notario Juan Antonio Reyes?
No, yo nunca fui con ningún notario y vi que está certificado supuestamente que yo firmé y no firmé yo nada.
No, I never went with any notary, and I see that it's signed, but I never signed anything. I didn't go anywhere.
Esa firma no es mía. Esa firma no es mía.
That's not my signature.
Is that true, Mr. Hernandez?
¿Eso es cierto, señor Hernández?
No, señora, ella sí fue, pero yo sé que iba a cambiar todo. porque
No,
siempre
no.
No, Your Honor. No, Ms. Lopez, por favor, espere. No, Your Honor, she did go, but I knew that she was going to change everything.
Well, that'll be a matter for the notary to address later. You can translate that.
Okay, Judge. Eso sería un asunto que tendría que hablarse con el notario.
Pues sí, pidan cámaras o no sé, porque yo nunca me presenté con el notario. Fui una vez con él y le dije que íbamos a divorciar, pero después le dije que no estaba de acuerdo, que yo no iba a firmarle nada. Y
Well, ask for cameras or something. I don't know, because I went one time, but I told him that I wasn't going to sign anything.
Well, Miss Lopez, there's nothing to divide. And I mean, I'm assuming you want to get divorced, correct?
Señora López, no hay nada que se tenga que dividir y estoy asumiendo que usted se quiere divorciar, ¿es correcto?
No, yo le dije que no estaba de acuerdo con el divorcio.
No, I told him I wasn't in agreement with the divorce.
Okay, and that's fine.
Está bien, pero
I cannot force Mr. Hernandez to stay in a marriage he does not want to be in.
está bien, pero eso está bien, pero no puedo obligar al señor Hernández a permanecer en un matrimonio en donde él no quiere estar.
Ok, pero ¿por qué falsificó mi firma? Nada más es lo que yo estoy. ¿Por qué?
Okay, but why did he falsify my signature?
I'm going to be forwarding this. I'm actually going to ask the notary to provide what proof he has that you were there present. He should have had a copy of your driver's license. And he should have signed, if you did sign, you would have signed a notary book as well.
Le voy a pedir al notario que me mande pruebas de cuando usted estuvo presente. Si usted estuvo presente, entonces él debe de tener copia de su licencia de conducir y tuvo que haber firmado un libro del notario. Entonces le voy a pedir esas pruebas al notario.
Sí, porque yo nunca me presenté ahí. Y también puede checar puente que yo no crucé esa fecha que supuestamente yo firmé.
Yes, because I was never present there and I never crossed that day that I supposedly signed.
Well, and that's a separate deal, and I understand you do not want to get married, but I can't force him to stay in a marriage because he filed for divorce. Okay. And so I'm sorry that you're in this situation, but I cannot force him to stay in a marriage.
Eso es, bueno, y eso es un tema aparte. Y yo entiendo que usted no se quiere divorciar, pero yo tampoco puedo forzar al señor Hernández que permanezca en un matrimonio en que él no quiera estar.
No, sí, yo sé, pero, o sea, hubiera dicho nada más la verdad. Yo le pregunté si había alguien más. O sea, no había nadie más supuestamente y vino a ser un problema a la familia porque sí daña psicológicamente que haya enredadose con la hija de una cuñada mía.
No, yes, I know, but he should have just said the truth. I asked him for the truth. I asked him if there was anyone else, and he said no.
All right, and what, Mr. Hernandez, one last, but don't say too much, but do you have something to say, Mr. Hernandez?
Señor Hernández, ¿usted tiene algo que decir?
Sí, lo que
Yes.
pasa es que ella quiere
But Mr. Hernández, solo le voy a pedir que si puede traducir en pausas para poder traducir todo correctamente.
Lo que pasa es que ella quiere que le arregle los papeles y después divorciarse.
What the thing is that she wants me to give her the papers and then that way she can get divorced.
No. Yeah, I mean, that's a completely different issue that I have no authority to make a decision on.
Eso es un tema completamente diferente en el cual yo no puedo hacer tomar ninguna decisión.
All right, the divorce is granted, it'll be prepared, and you'll be sent copies and notice in about 7 days.
El divorcio será concedido, se va a preparar el decreto final y ustedes recibirán notificación en 7 días.
Buena suerte and good luck to both of you. You're excused.
Pueden ser los dos, se pueden retirar los dos.
Y entonces con lo del notario de la firma falsificada, que nada más se va a quedar así.
So that the falsified signature, is that just going to stay like that?
No, that's a criminal matter that he'll have to answer for if it's true that you did not sign that document.
No, ese es un asunto criminal del cual él tendrá que responder si él falsificó esa firma.
Pues sí la falsificó y pues está certificado y pues ya está bien, si dijo él que el divorcio está concedido, ok, pero pues yo también quiero, porque no quiero que se quede eso así porque yo sé que es delito. que falsifique mi firma.
He did falsify it, and it's certified, and that's okay that the divorce was granted, but I just don't want this to stay like that.
No, I understand, but that's a criminal matter for the county attorney to handle in Bexar County. Do not take it into your own hands.
No, yo entiendo, pero ese es un asunto criminal que el condado de Bexar tendrá que solucionar.
Bueno, entonces,
no tome asuntos.
Entonces, perdón, pero ¿qué es lo que voy a proceder conmigo? ¿Qué voy a hacer? O sea, que esperarme a que le hagan o yo me puedo mover por mi lado de por qué falsificó mi firma.
You're
So
free.
what's going to happen? Should I?
Yeah, hold on. Yeah, estás libre hacer la petición con el fiscal del condado de ahí en San Antonio. Si quieres hacer una queja aparte, la puedes hacer.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
¿Cuándo voy a venir?
That's it, everyone. Thank you so much.
Judge, I'm sorry. On page 9, we have the petitioner and the respondent both present. Ms. Cantu ended up coming to the courtroom. On page 9, bottom.
Oh, boy. All right, let me find the file. They're both here?
Yes, he was going to file the waiver, so we reset it.
All right, hold on. Let me find the file. What is it, Derby Rodriguez?
Derby Rodriguez and Veronica Cantu.
Oh, here it is. It's the one I told not to buy a lottery ticket.
Yes.
Sorry, Mr. Clayton, one more.
It's because he's coming all the way from Zapata, Judge. So he doesn't want to come back.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay, well, let me make sure. Does somebody live here in Webb County for at least 90 days?
Yes.
Okay, good. All right, then we can go forward. Ms. Cantu, before we swear you in, you were not served. If we go forward, you're allowed to ask for 45 days to get ready for trial. Do you want 45 days or you want to get divorced?
No, I'm going to get divorced.
Okay, all right. So let me ask you both to raise your right hand to be sworn in.
Do you solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Okay. And
you.
Ms. Cantu, I'm going to ask him questions since he filed for the divorce. So Mr. Rodriguez, is your true and correct name Burley Rodriguez Jr.?
Yes.
And you're currently married to Veronica Cantu?
Yes.
Prior to filing for this divorce, did you or her, did you live in the state of Texas for at least 6 months?
Yes.
Did either you or Ms. Cantu live in Webb County for at least 90 days?
Yes.
Okay. Are you asking the court to grant you divorce because the marriage has become insupportable?
Yes.
Is there any reasonable expectations that you might get back together?
No.
And I'll ask you the same question, Ms. Cantu. Any reasonable expectations you might get back together?
No.
Is it true that there are no minor children of the marriage?
That's correct.
And that there is no property to be divided up?
No.
And you're waiving your right to request 45 days to get ready for trial, and so you can get divorced today?
Yes.
And I'm assuming that no name change is being required?
No.
Anything I need to hear before I make my announcement?
No.
All right. All right, based on the evidence and the testimony before the court is going to grant the divorce on the grounds of insupportability. There's no property or children, so no division is necessary. And the decree will be prepared by the court, so it may be ready in about 2 or 3 days, maybe not till Monday. but you will get a copy or notice from the clerk when you can pick one up. All right. Thank you for showing up, Ms. Cantu. And so that's it. You're divorced.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Go forth and be free and happy. All right.
That's a wrap, Judge.
All right. I'm gonna figure out what I'm gonna do with this notary thing. All right,
She
everyone.
called
Thank you so
yesterday.
What?
She told me she had called me yesterday and she told me about the incident.
Really? Well, there's a way. I mean, and I'm going to. I'll figure it out. I know there's a way to inquire about this. All right, everyone. Thank you so much. Enjoy.
Bye, Judge.
Feels
Bye.
Thank you, Judge.
Feels like a Friday, so I'll say have a happy week.
Way there.
We're almost there, Judge. Thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Bye.